1 month to the playoffs, and the City of Champions is on the outside looking in with a sense of urgency. The Lions already have a spot. Quarterback Dave Dickinson is back in uniform today, but the team's fortunes will stay in the good hands of Jarius Jackson. Today at Commonwealth Stadium, Edmonton faithful assemble with a sense of gloom. The Eskimos are facing playoff uncertainty. Coach Danny Machocha has called on his key performers to deliver, or Edmonton could miss the playoffs for the second year in a row. With a backup at the helm and facing the best team in the league, Edmonton will need to pull together and find a way to win. The dominant and confident Lions have unanswered questions themselves, with Dave Dickinson returning to the lineup and Buck Pierce ready to go. The red-hot Jarius Jackson must continue to impress or risk having his dream season end on the sidelines. There are careers at stake, a playoff berth on the line, and it all happens right now. Commonwealth Stadium, home of the Eskimos, a proud franchise steeped in tradition, but with 4 weeks left in the season, in jeopardy of missing the playoffs for an unthinkable second straight year. Today, they open a home and away series with the front-running BC Lions, so it won't be easy, and you can't characterize the atmosphere in this city as optimistic. Yet the Eskimos are only 2 points out of third place behind the Calgary Stampeders in the West. Good afternoon. I'm Mark Lee along with Kahari Jones. Welcome to the CFL on CBC. The Lions, they've already got a playoff spot clinched. They're looking to get a firm hold on first place in the final month of this season. They've got all three quarterbacks healthy for the first time since July, but today, Wally Buono will stay the course with Jarius Jackson.
Yeah, and I think Wally Buono is making a good move here. I mean, what a situation for the BC Lions to be in. They have three quarterbacks with experience and three that they know that can win football games, and most importantly, three that understand their roles. I mean, this is Jarius Jackson's team. He's 5-2 as a starter. It's not including coming off the bench for fourth quarter heroics against Calgary, and he gives this team an added dimension with his mobility. I know he's only completing 52% of his passes, but he's shown that he can make the big pass in a big situation, especially a couple of weeks ago against Saskatchewan. And really, this team is a team that relies on the running game, and that comes up to Joe Smith and the offensive line.
If the Eskimos are going to make the playoffs, they're going to have to do it without their top quarterback, Ricky Ray. He's still out with that shoulder injury. Today, Stefan LaForce gets his second CFL start.
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate about Ricky Ray. I mean, he was coming off of having a very good season before being sidelined with the separated right shoulder. And unlike BC, Edmonton relied on him so much in their passing game. They didn't rely on the running game. And now it comes down to Stefan LaForce, and a first-year player, but he showed good poise. He's not a guy who, as a rookie, he's come in there and he's looked off and everything. He's shown good poise in the pocket, but he was victimized by a handful of drops and by 6 sacks last game. So for this team to be successful, they are definitely going to have to give him more help than they gave him last week.
Yeah, they've got to get this offense scoring, and soon. All right, how about your game notes?
All right, start with the game notes. For BC, welcome back. Geroy Simon is back to most outstanding player form. The last 4 games, he's averaged over 105 yards, and his confidence with Jarius Jackson is soaring. On defense, the great wall. I'm talking about Johnson, Williams, Hunt, and Wake. These guys have started every game, leading the team from the front. On offense for Edmonton, balancing act. To have success today, Edmonton must commit to having a good run-pass combination, keeping BC off balance. They have no problem passing. They have to work on the running. And on defense, in Goss we trust. Jason Goss leads this defensive backfield against a good receiving core. They must not only play well, but cause some turnovers in the process.
All right, Kahari, a big blue sky overhead here in the Alberta capital. A glorious afternoon for football in October as Brett Anderson sends the ball aloft to Darian Anderson, making his first appearance in the CFL, puts his head down on the return team. It is finally stopped by the kicker himself, the all-round Brett Anderson. Stefan Lefors making his second start as a quarterback in the CFL, was sacked 6 times last week in his debut against the Argos. But Danny Machocha says, quote, he'll make a name for himself in this league, and it may well be hard to keep him in the CFL once he does. All kinds of potential and full of poise, and the Eskimos' playoff hopes are in his hands. Play action on first down. LaForce, the southpaw, throwing low and short and incomplete. Kamal Peterson, the Eskimos' leading receiver, can't hold on.
Yeah, we see Stefan LaForce just short-arm that one a little bit as we look at the Edmonton offense. Starting out, look for Bell to really play a big part in this. His biggest carry amount is only 16 carries. He might go past that today. Tucker and Peterson on the inside for the receiving core. Expect to see a lot of balls go to those guys. In this offensive line, they have Trey Derrick in the middle now, hopefully to add a little attitude for this offensive line.
Yeah, Danny Machocha says he doesn't take any guff from anyone. On 2nd and 10, BC bringing the blitz. LaForce stands in, delivers at midfield, and Jason Tucker says he's got it. Dante Marsh says it's incomplete. They're going to spot the catch, and it's first down territory for the Eskimos.
Yeah, LaForce put that ball in a nice place. He put it low so only he can get it. Marsh has great coverage on that one, but puts it in a very nice spot.
First down Eskimos, and they try to get the ball off quickly, but the officials weren't set, and so they whistle it dead. Coming into this game, Kahari, the BC Lions on a 4-game winning streak. And it looks like there will be a challenge coming on that last reception. They got the flag down just in advance of the ball coming off on the snap.
Yep, nice and early. Wally Bono probably heard it from his players on the field that ball hit the ground first. And that's going to cause a challenge quickly.
BC is challenging the ruling on the play that the pass was complete.
So they get the challenge in before the next play is off. And Ken Lazarick will go under the hood. Wally Buono's Lions have a 5-1-1 record on the road, the best in the CFL coming into this game. And let's look at that catch by Tucker.
Yeah, it looked like Tucker got his hands under from that angle, and Tucker is a receiver in this league with very good hands, and so usually if he gets his hands on it, he's not going to bobble it. Although from this angle, it looked like it might hit the ground, so this should be interesting. I'm sure the referees are going to want to see this at least a few times.
Well, the challenge is on, and as we await the verdict from Ken Lazarick, as I mentioned, the Lions on a 4-game winning streak can clinch a home playoff date with a win or a tie here today. But coming into Commonwealth Stadium, the Lions have lost their last 3 consecutive games here, and 7 of their last 9 going back to 2000.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, that's always with Ricky Ray-led teams, and so it'll be interesting to see how Stefan LaForce does against his defense. And this is just a different team. Like you said, 5-1-1 on the road as we look down again at this catch to see if he actually got it. I'm thinking right now it's inconclusive, and they're going to give him the catch.
But I haven't seen anything yet that would overturn the decision.
No, definitely. And it's hard to tell right there if he had his hands underneath the ball or not. It looked like he did have his hands underneath, but again, it's all about if the ball touched the ground or not. So
Tucker hoping that his catch will stand, and it'll provide some spark for this offense, which has scored just one touchdown in the last 3 games.
There's not enough conclusive video evidence that the ball was not caught. The ruling on the field stands. Completed pass, first down.
So as we thought, the catch will stand, and the Eskimos will scrimmage first down just shy of the midfield stripe. LaForce with 3 receivers to the wide side. Handing off to Tyler Ebel, trying to get outside, and he does. Look out! Ebel now pushed out of bounds by Baron Miles. And another first down for this Eskimo offense.
Fantastic start by Edmonton. I like the fact that they mixed it up in the first 3 plays. We get play action, we get a pass, and now we get the running game with Ebel. Ebel is one of these guys, smaller guys. but still has a lot of power, so he can get away from that defensive lineman's first tackle and get downfield and use his speed.
Gain of 20 yards on the first carry by Ebel, who had just one carry in the first quarter last week against Toronto. There's his second right away. Sticks his head down. It's Anderson, who's playing in a twin tailback formation for the Eskimos, and the rookie smashes to the 30.
We see Ebel getting to the second level on this defensive line, which is one of the best in the league, probably the best in the league. All have great motors up front. For linebackers, we're looking at Otis Floyd, who had the game-saving play against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers last week, and the defensive backfield led by Ryan Phillips and his 10 interceptions.
Havy Glatt anchoring that vaunted BC defense in a bunch formation now. On second and short, LaFleur's a crossing route to Andrew Nowacki. He can't hold on in what would have been a first down, and this is what happened last week in LaFleur's debut. He was really let down by his receivers.
Oh yeah, and you're seeing a start of that again. Nowacki has to have that catch. I mean, you're starting out this game, you're playing against the #1 team in the league, and you're driving the ball. You're running it effectively. Nowacki has to come up with that catch and continue this drive.
Instead, the 16-year veteran, Sean Fleming, will attempt his first field goal of the afternoon from the 37-yard line. His longest this year from 48. Fleming has the kick up and good. The Eskimos score on their opening drive, a 37-yard field goal. Jarius Jackson and the BC offense are next. The CFL on CBC is brought to you by the all-new 2007 GMC Sierra, professional grade. And by Rogers. Save time with easy wireless email. Set up and running in minutes. Nothing for the home team early here at Commonwealth Stadium. Wally Buono's Lions with the best road record in the CFL, just one loss in 7 games. That loss coming to Montreal, a team like Edmonton without its starting quarterback Anthony Calvillo, a game the Lions took too lightly. Danny Machocha, with Edmonton's playoff hopes fading, his veterans holding that closed-door meeting this week to rally a team that needs some jump down the stretch with 4 games to go, and facing the prospect of a second straight year out of the playoffs, the first time that would have happened in more than 40 years. Corey Rogers from the 7-yard line on this kick return. A stutter step at the 25, and down he goes on a short return, and Adam Braidwood makes the tackle. Jarius Jackson has a 5-2 record as a starter with the BC Lions, and he's at the controls of a powerhouse offense that has scored 37 or more points in 5 of the last 7 games.
Yeah, and Jarius Jackson does it a different way than those other 2 guys. He really relies on the passes downfield. Doesn't need to have a big passing completion percentage, but he gets the job done.
Jackson on first down at the 27-yard line. Straight back on a short drop, wide side, wide open, and incomplete as Corey Rogers lost that one, and will set the BC starting offensive line.
Yeah, we look at this, the backfield, and it all starts with Joe Smith, recently over 1,000 yards, leading the league in rushing. You know he's going to get the ball. The 3-headed monster of Jackson, Simon, and Claremont, all of these guys are very solid receivers. And then what is arguably the best line in the game today, they love to pass rush, but they have something to prove from last game.
That line sets the tone on offense on 2nd and 10, pumping now. Jackson throwing downfield for Geroy Simon, and it's overthrown and incomplete. 2 and out on the opening series as we check the Edmonton defense.
Yeah, Edmonton's defense comes out and plays tight at the start. Defensive line, Ron Warner up front has been getting a lot of push in these last 4 or 5 weeks. Linebackers A.J. Gass, 10th year with the Edmonton Eskimos, playing as good a football as he has been. In the defensive backfields, it all starts with Jason Goss. The rest of these guys have really improved their game.
Had a strong last 4 games, the Edmonton defense, allowing an average of just 17 points against. Lenny Williams is the lone man back for Edmonton to receive this punt from Paul McCallum, back in the lineup after missing a game with a lower back injury. Lenny Williams at the 45. Tyson Craigs, the long snapper, had him in his grasp, and he can't get away for about 3 yards on the return. But a flag down, and it will be no yards to call against BC, and this could be a 15-yard penalty.
Oh yeah, and this is going to give Edmonton a great field position again. This is 2 series in a row. They want to continue and keep that momentum going for them, especially with this team. They know that it's very good on defense.
No yards. BC, number 25, 15-yard penalty. First down.
That's the rookie Jerome Dennis in too close, and let's have a look at Paul McCallum and his first punt. Remember, he missed last week's game, taking a shot 2 weeks ago against Calgary, and he's a little nimble after his first offering. We'll see how he does throughout the course of this afternoon. The Eskimos, with a field goal to show for their first drive, go back on offense. A bunch formation. Now they waggle to the wide side. 4 receivers in that direction for Stefan LaForce. And he hands off Tyler Ebel with tough sledding up the gut in a gain of 2. To the sidelines this afternoon. And we welcome Greg Frerichs.
You know, it's going to be really interesting. Trey Derelick is playing center for the Eskimos. He was just acquired in September, is an American, has never played in the CFL, and coming against a defensive front and in the BC Lions, they're going to be moving around like crazy. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not he's sharp on his calls today.
Yes, Trey Derelick, a 4th-round NFL draft pick in 2004 of the Philadelphia Eagles. To the wide side, wide open, and Fred Stamps has his first catch of the afternoon, and he'll step out of touch with a first down.
That was a great touch by Stefan LaForce on that play. I mean, the BC Lions, they only rushed 3 on this play, so they dropped 9 people deep. Stefan LaForce reads it quickly, gets the ball out there before Stamps even comes out of his break, and delivers a perfect ball.
So after 2 drops by the Eskimo receivers in the opening drive, Stamps hangs on tight, and Edmonton moves to the 34 of BC. LaForce now with an audible at the line of scrimmage. Straight back to southpaw, throwing in the flats. Tyler Ebel makes the catch, and he's forced out of touch by Otis Floyd. Ebel was the Eskimos' leading receiver in the first game these 2 teams played back in early July.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons we see him as a leading receiver is because teams drop back so often and allow that running back to get open underneath.
Ebel had 10 catches for 87 yards back on July 6th at BC. Play action, LaForce quickly away to Fred Stamps. He bobbles it, hangs on, beats Dante Marsh, then Corey Banks, and he's got a first down.
That was a fortuitous bobble by Stamps right there. It looked like he was going to drop that one also and stop that drive, but he holds his concentration just long enough to catch that ball and then smart enough to go get that first down.
LaForce in the no-huddle offense. This young quarterback in just his second CFL start, looking very poised here and moving the ball in a double tight end formation. The Eskimos on first down. LaForce throwing a crossing route too high and behind his intended receiver Trevor Gaylor, who tried to one-hand it and couldn't bring it in.
Yeah, and that was actually where LaForce wanted to throw that ball. He read zone coverage, so he wanted his receiver to stop up a little bit on this play, Gaylor. Instead, he kind of runs all the way through this route. He tries to get him away from the coverage inside with the linebackers, and Gaylor just couldn't hold on.
Gaylor had the Eskimos' only touchdown on a pass from LaForce last week against Toronto. He also had a costly drop in that game. 2nd and 10 from the BC 23. 3-man rush from the Lions. They drop 9. LaForce trying to find somebody open under pressure. It's away and complete. Gaylor goes up for it this time and brings it down. And a gain of 13. And the Eskimos will move the yardsticks again inside the red zone.
And again, you have to be impressed with Stefan LaForce and his poise in the pocket. I mean, Otis Floyd is coming down on him. Again, you have the 3-4-man rush. Otis Floyd comes in from the linebacker. He doesn't panic. He doesn't go down. He just keeps looking downfield and finds his open man just before the play, just before he's sacked.
Eskimos stay in the hurry up. It prevents BC from personnel changes on defense. And here they go. LaForce back to pass, a bullet, and it's knocked down. Javi Glatt breaks it up at middle linebacker for the Lions.
Yeah, they're very happy to have Javi Glatt back there in the middle. He's one of those guys that reads offenses so well. You saw one of the plays he had in the Grey Cup. He finds out where the quarterback wants to throw the ball, and then he's quick enough to go and react to it quickly. As you see Tucker, he's just trying to find a little spot in that zone. Javi Glatt sees it, makes a very nice play.
2nd and goal, Eskimos from the 9-yard line. Stefan LaForce straight back. He's got time. Now pressed. Throws it into a crowd intended for Ebel. And it's incomplete, and he takes a shot from Tyrone Williams for good measure. So another field goal situation here for Edmonton.
Yeah, and that was a play right there where Stefan LaForce wants to just throw that ball away. He tries to make something happen out of nothing. It almost gets intercepted and ran back on this play. He tries to hit Ebel coming across the middle. One of the cardinal rules for a quarterback, don't throw late over the middle.
Fleming has kicked one from 37 yards out on the opening drive. And this attempt will come from the 17. Down, up, and good. Back-to-back field goals from Sean Fleming, and it's 6-0 Edmonton. Welcome back to the Alberta capital on this October Saturday afternoon. And the Eskimos out to an early 6-0 lead on back-to-back Sean Fleming field goals. They looked like they could have had a 10-0 lead here had they taken advantage of that last good-looking drive. And Fleming will kick it off. Corey Rogers and Ian Smart, the CFL's leading kick returner, are back for BC. And special teams could factor large here today. The Eskimos have been shoddy. They gave up 2 special teams touchdowns against last week against Toronto. And that kickoff will go out of bounds. And so the Lions will have excellent field position at their own 45-yard line for the second offensive series of the game for Jarius Jackson.
Yeah, and that's something that Edmonton definitely didn't want to do, is kick that ball out of bounds. They have great momentum right now. They have 2 very good drives at the beginning of this game. Really needed a touchdown on one of those drives to gain a lead against this BC Lions team, but they don't want to give up that momentum right now.
Wally Buono telling us in our meeting yesterday that he will leave this offense and the reins to Jarius Jackson, despite the fact that Buck Pierce is ready to go at number 2 and Dave Dickinson is back in uniform at number 3. He said, I might be taking the easy way out, but we're not going to upset the apple cart. And Buono admitting he learned something from his 2004 experience when Printers led the way and he went to Dave Dickinson in the Grey Cup. Joe Smith, the CFL's leading rusher, has his first carry, negotiating that left tackle. And he has but a handful as Stanford Samuels comes up from the halfback position to make the tackle. There's Buck Pierce, who hasn't played since August 17th when he separated his shoulder against Calgary. He's sending the signals in this afternoon. And to his right, Dave Dickinson hasn't been in uniform since July 13th when he was concussed for the 3rd time in less than 2 years on that shot from Fred Perry. Tim Cheatwood in on defense now for the Eskimos on 2nd and 8. BC, they bring the blitz. Jackson the ball away. Nearly intercepted by Lenny Williams. Josh Bowden was the intended receiver, but he lost his footing and went down. Yeah, and there's a flag on the play too, Kahar.
Lenny Williams had a perfect opportunity right there on that play to really get the momentum going for Edmonton on the defensive side of the football, with taking advantage of Josh Bowden slipping down.
Offside. BC number 82 declined. 3rd down.
Jason Claremont offside.
Yeah, as we see Claremont just anticipating the snap a little bit, getting a couple of steps offsides.
That's what we need, fellas.
This BC Lions team is not in sync offensively right now. And I don't know how much of that has to do with Edmonton playing very tight football.
Yes, the second 2 plays and a punt for BC to start this football game. Paul McCallum making sure they have 12 players on the field and set to deliver. McCallum, a line drive, angling it to this sideline, and it will go out of bounds shy of the 30-yard line, denying Lenny Williams a return, just a 32-yard punt for Paul McCallum. Get your evening started with Scotiabank. Hockey tonight, the pregame show for Hockey Night in Canada before the Leafs brace for the Pittsburgh Penguins at Sidney Crosby tonight. It's all followed by the Edmonton Oilers on the coast against the Vancouver Canucks. That's game 2 of our Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader. Scotia Hockey Tonight starts it all at 6:30 Eastern. Stefan LaForce breaks the huddle in his second start at quarterback. 50% completion rate, 2 drops over by his receivers, opens on the ground. Tyler Ebel, a stutter step, comes inside, and he'll have a nice gain of 6 yards on first down. Ebel has been recovering from Bell's palsy. He also had a separated shoulder earlier in this season and hasn't practiced much with the Eskimos. Danny Machocha was telling us, Kahari, that he's actually had to keep him out of practice because Ebel is so concerned that he might not get a chance to play if he doesn't practice.
Yeah, he's an exciting player. He wants to be out there. He wants to play. He just has that kind of drive that you want to see, especially in the running back position.
2nd and 4. Eskimos, short drop for LaForce, firing high and too far out of bounds for Fred Stamps, who brings it in on the one-handed catch, but he's out of bounds.
Yeah, they just ran a little out route from both Tucker and Stamps.
Plays
just ran out of real estate on that play. Trying to do that on the short side of the field, you have to be so precise. LaForce puts in a great ball and Stamps makes a great catch. Fortunately, they just ran out of real estate.
Sean Fleming will punt, standing inside his 25-yard line. And facing down, Ian Smart, the most prolific kick returner in the CFL this year, leading with 1,997 combined yards, and a terrific deep punt from Fleming pushes Ian Smart to his 16-yard line. Smart outside, gets a block, upfield, and dragged down at the 30 as flags fly all over the place. And the Eskimos claiming there were some illegal blocks on the play. A 55-yard punt and just a 12-yard return. You're watching the CFL on CBC.
4:31 to play, opening quarter. The Eskimos leading the Lions 6-0. There's no love lost between the BC Lions offensive line and the Edmonton Eskimos defense. The fans on this side of the field have really been riding Rob Murphy, yelling all kinds of things to him. Murphy came over to me and said, you know what? He said, that's the wrong thing to do. That's going to fire me up and my offensive line mates against this Eskimos defense. Guys?
Yes, it was back in July when Rob Murphy got into it with Adam Braidwood in a brawl. Look a bit like mixed martial arts back in the home opener for the BC Lions as Braidwood took on Rob Murphy. There was the pin move by Murphy, and then it set off a bit of a Donnybrook as Braidwood. Now, don't take him too lightly. He's tough in his own right. He plays at UFC.
Oh, yeah.
And then it got ugly. And even afterwards, Braidwood's dad got into a confrontation in the bowels of BC Place with Rob Murphy, so there is no love lost, as Steve mentioned. 2nd and 1 after the big carry by Joe Smith. He gets the call again and runs into a brick wall. What a big defensive play there by the Eskimos, and we'll have to see where they spot it.
Oh, yeah, wherever they spot this, it will not be a first down. Eskimo defense has come to play today. You really see it. You saw it from the first snap. This team wants to set the tone, and they are doing it. They don't want to get Joe Smith off. They know he is the one that makes this offense go. And you see as Braidwood gets in there, AJ Gass, they just buckle down. Everyone goes low. They get people around the ends. Warner in the middle, along with Brown, make sure that that line cannot push off.
This defense, as I mentioned earlier on the broadcast, has played awfully well. There's the measurement, and you can see they will be short by the length of the football, 3rd down. But the Edmonton defense over the last month has been stalwart while the offense has struggled.
It really has. The last 5 games, they've only allowed 17 points a game. They've been let down with the special teams, with the offense and interceptions, but this team is tough.
Here's a big gamble. Third down, less than a yard on the BC 24. Everybody stacking that line of scrimmage. Quarterback keeper for Darius Jackson. And he goes into that heap of humanity. And it looks like he'll have the first down.
Yeah, he got the first down, but it's not by much. And they're not getting a big push on the offensive line. So it's going to be curious to see if that is more than a half yard, if that becomes a yard, if that becomes a yard and a half, if the BC Lions actually go for it. We see the replay again. The Edmonton Eskimos are staying very tough in the middle there, led by A.J. Gasson right behind the charge.
Here we are with 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter, and the Lions' vaunted offense has its first down. Play action now, good fake. Jackson loading up to the wide side. It's picked off by Lenny Williams. Williams cuts upfield. And a flag on the play, his second pick of the season. And another BC receiver falling down. It looked like Simon went down and left that ball open for Lenny Williams.
Yeah, the BC Lions right now are not used to this field. They're falling all over the place. Advantage Edmonton Eskimos, but there is a flag on the play. And it looks like right now that it's going against Edmonton.
Legal contact and receiver. Edmonton, number 91, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Adam Braidwood takes a costly penalty for Danny Michoch's defense.
And you hate to see that happen. I mean, he's on the right side of this play. He comes down, and I don't see where the penalty is. Oh, there's no hit on that penalty. I mean, he's going up, he's blocking, he's thinking he's about to be blocked. Oh, that's a tough one to take, especially for a game changer like that.
It wipes out Lenny Williams' pick. Big Joe Smith head down, big time contact. And a wrestling match shy of the 45-yard line. Tomorrow at 7 on CBC, catch the premiere of a new family drama series set against the sweeping landscape of an Alberta horse rescue center. It's based on the best-selling series of books Heartland. It premieres tomorrow at 7 on CBC. The gain by Joe Smith, 7 yards. 2nd and 3 for the Lions, digging themselves out of poor field position and escaping that pick by Lenny Williams. The call again goes to Smith. He's stacked up. A.J. Gass sticks his nose into the fray and stops the big back short of the first down. And the Lions will have to punt it away.
And I'm liking what I'm seeing from Edmonton right now. I mean, even with the missed opportunity with the interception, they're still coming back. They're still just going play to play. They're really anticipating what BC Lion wants to do. And it all starts with A.J. Gass in the middle.
A.J. Gass, a 10-year veteran, and really the heart and soul of that Eskimo defense. McCallum, a good punt. Lenny Williams, who led NFL Europe a year ago in returns, loses his footing, then gets back up on his horse and makes something of what looked like a tough return before he's pushed out of bounds at the BC bench for a return of 24. Edmonton back on offense. They have 2 field goals so far. They had only 3 field goals in their first game against BC in July. A quarterback draw is going nowhere as Aaron Hunt puts the clasp on the quarterback right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Aaron Hunt read this play perfectly. It looks like that's his job almost, is to not rush fully down the field. As you see Aaron Hunt here, he rushes, but then he stops the rush quickly and looks at the quarterback to see if he's going to do the quarterback draw, and he reads it correctly.
Substitution on the BC defense. Rick Foley is in for Tyrone Williams on this 2nd down and 12 situation. LaFours moving out of the pocket, throws to the flats. Tyler Ebel surrounded by 4 Lions, and down he goes. Well shy, 4 yards shy of the first down. Markeith Knowlton, the nickelback, on the tackle for BC on the final play of the first quarter here at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. The Eskimos with 2 field goals, all the scoring in the first quarter.
Win a free VIP Grey Cup package for you and 4 buddies. Go to PokerStars.net/CFL to register in the draw. You can play flag football with a CFL quarterback in the PokerStars Pigskin Classic. Score 5 VIP tickets to the Grey Cup, attend VIP concerts, celebrity parties, and play poker with Daniel Negreanu and CFL stars. For the ultimate free Grey Cup VIP package, visit PokerStars.net/CFL now.
Back in Edmonton for the start of the second quarter. And let's just take a moment and look at the first quarter numbers, Kahari.
Yeah, it was a quarter dominated by the Edmonton Eskimos. You see no passing yards in the first quarter. I mean, they don't have a great passing offense, but they should have some passing yards there. No turnovers, time of possession, all Edmonton. And really, the score doesn't reflect how much they dominated that first quarter.
It is rather shocking to see no passing yards as Ian Smart gets ready for this Edmonton punt, but they are ranked second last in team passing, and that's been the story of the season. With all the quarterback injuries, they have survived with that big running game. Fleming with a towering punt. Smart at the 15, tremendous hang time, and look at the cover. Mike Botterill downfield along with AJ Gass and Mike Maurer to limit that return to just 5, and this is a much maligned special teams unit in Edmonton. They've already allowed 2 punt return touchdowns this year, but they look terrific there.
And that starts with Fleming. I mean, that was a beautiful punt. Usually I don't comment on those, but high and just what this team needs. They're winning the field position battle right now, and that's one of the things that they want to continue, especially how their defense is playing so far.
So Jarius Jackson with nothing through the air in the first quarter goes back to work against Robert Brown and this tough Eskimo defense here at home. At the 20, first down. Action, play action on the option, and it's a pitch to Joe Smith, nimbly outside, and William Loftus will knock him out of touch. We talked about the bad blood that exists between the offensive line of the Lions and the defensive line, in particular this man Adam Braidwood, and he says he's looking forward to the return engagement.
I've been saying all week there's probably no love lost between the 2 lines there, and you know, I think it'll be the most physical game of the year, and you know, we're going to get after it, and I'm sure there'll be a few extracurricular things going on there, but you know, hopefully nothing that escalates too much where somebody gets kicked out.
So we'll keep our eyes on the trenches this afternoon. Jackson on 2nd and 3, falls down. Again, that's the 3rd Lion player to lose his footing, but he's quickly up, desperate for the first down marker and won't get there. And Adam Braidwood is in on the play for the Eskimos as we look at the cleats on the shoes of Jarius Jackson. That's the 3rd Lion player to lose his footing on this natural surface.
And this is the Edmonton Eskimo advantage. They not only have the crowd advantage, but they also have the field advantage. The only team in the CFL to have a grass field. These guys aren't used to it. Most guys don't even practice on a grass field anymore, and when this field gets a little wet, it gets tough sledding. The Edmonton knows how to handle it.
Braidwood introducing himself to Jimenez at the right tackle position. Another punt for McCallum. The temperature here has been getting down to 0 overnight, and they've had some frost in the Edmonton area, and that does take a toll on the natural grass. It's a short, wobbly punt from McCallum. Bouncing at the 45 on the first bounce. Lenny Williams has it, and he's manhandled by Otis Floyd. No return, but a flag on the play. And this will be a 5 yards, no yards call when we come back to Edmonton. Well, footwear becoming an issue early in this football game. Let's go down to our town cobbler, Steve, on the sidelines.
Thank you, Mark. I've been checking out the footwear, and so the BC Lions, trying to find the right combination that's going to work on this natural turf here at Commonwealth Stadium. 2 hours before kickoff, I walked the field with the Lions head coach, Wally Buono, and he suggested and agreed with me that frost, there's no question, made it a little bit slippery. But he pointed the finger in another direction and suggested now the Eskimos may have been using their sprinkler system a little bit more than they needed to.
Come on, the Eskimos wouldn't do that, would they? A couple interesting shots down in the pits of the BC sidelines there as they get those impact wrenches out and change the cleats to the longer 3/4 inch.
Looked like stock car racing, didn't it? You know, when they're coming in for the pit stop and get the cleats in there. I've been there before, believe me. This field, and it changes from first quarter to fourth quarter. You will see a significant change on the field. So the mist, the weather, it all plays an effect.
I've also heard sometimes they let the grass grow a little long in the summer.
Oh, yeah, they have their tricks.
For the fast teams, slow them down a little bit. 2nd down and 7. LaFour straight back to southpaw under pressure. Cameron Wake, the sack leader, has another. His 13th to take sole possession of the lead from Tom Canada, the Blue Bombers. And the clubhouse leader for sure in the Rookie of the Year category.
Yeah, Stefan LaFour is known as a fast quarterback. I mean, he was a sprinter in high school and everything, but Cameron Wake is a fast guy himself. And once he gets outside, he's there with the sack leader, and Cameron Wake knows what to do when he has a quarterback in his sights.
Bit of a rodeo move there. Cam Wake's league-leading 13th sack. And for the 3rd series in a row, 2 and out. For the Eskimos, a short punt from Fleming. A good bounce, though. Ian Smart has a bobble on it. And then he's forced out of bounds. No yards on the play.
Let's go, baby, some more.
There's the sack ledger. And the rookie Cam Wake at the top of the list after that big drop of the Eskimo quarterback. Jarius Jackson firing to the flats with authority. G. Simon makes the catch. Lenny Williams hammers him out of bounds, and there's some hot blood and some trash talk after that play.
Oh, yeah, we got helmets off on the offensive line. This is Murphy.
He's complaining, too.
Mixing it up a little bit in there. I know he's used to that, where you see G. Simon just getting his feet up under him, getting that first catch.
That's the first completion of the game for the Lions as we take a look at G. Simon, last year's most outstanding player. Look at the yardage he's built up. Had a slow start this year, the first 10 games with injuries and so forth. The last 4 games with Jarius Jackson at the helm, he's averaged 105 yards receiving. Here comes the Edmonton blitz. Jarius Jackson in a busted route there looking for G. Simon. It falls out of bounds, incomplete. And Simon gesturing back at his quarterback. He was running the fly route.
Oh, yeah. G. Simon had a touchdown in his mind. It looked like an option route right there where G. Simon wants to go deep. Jarius Jackson thinks he's going to cut this route off, but he sees the corner sitting. Yeah, and that's what it is. G. Simon sees this corner sitting. Omar Morgan decides to take it deep. Jarius Jackson doesn't read the same thing.
So they're trying to get on the same page. 1 pass completion so far for Jarius Jackson in this football game. McCallum with a 1-hop catch, drives it to Lenny Williams looking back into the sun. He has it at the 19. Williams surrounded, plus the tackle, and then Tad Crawford, the young rookie out of Columbia, makes a big tackle as the quarterbacks compare notes at the BC bench.
Tad Crawford, the 3.
Welcome back to Commonwealth Stadium. And a 6-0 Edmonton Eskimos lead over the BC Lions as we celebrate the 55th year of the CFL on CBC. We have a distinguished member of the crew who began his career back in 1953, Ernie Afghaniz. Ernie, thanks for joining us in the booth here today.
Nice to be here, really. It's a pleasure.
Ernie has been a part of the football broadcasts. Began in 1953 all the way to 1980. You have one Grey Cup game you can remember as your fond favorite?
Well, I think the first one in '54 actually was when Edmonton defeated Montreal. They were heavy underdogs, but they came through in a great play in the last part of the game. Oh, my goodness.
You're no stranger to the elements there.
Nice to see it was just as cold back then.
Yeah.
Which gives us a wind chill of 35 below zero.
35 below zero in the wind chill. There you are with but an overcoat and no earmuffs.
Wow.
You think about the game you covered during those 28 years. How has it changed in the new millennium, do you think?
Well, I don't think the game has changed too much. The things that go around the game, the computers, all this that's going on, it's a different type of game, actually. But it really hasn't changed in the actual movement of the game.
Right. Corey Banks with his 4th interception of the season, and this ball hawk defense has its 20th for the BC Lions, Kyrie Jones.
They were waiting for you, I think, Ernie, to show up. We see Corey Banks just jump on a curl route right here. It was beautiful anticipation by him. Stefan LaForce tries to fit that ball in, but doesn't place it where he needs to Kamal Peterson. Corey Banks comes up with a nice interception.
So Stefan LaForce coughs up the football in his 4th interception. Paris Jackson now handing off to Big Joe Smith, who moves the pile. You know, Ernie, we're talking about the changes in the game. I look at the depth chart here for the BC Lions, and they have no less than 9 defensive backs in the lineup, and what has become a pass-happy game in the last 10 to 20 years.
Well, the coaching has changed, and they look for different ways to win now. They try all kinds of things. In the old days, it seemed to be, you know, a couple of runs on the pass, very few passes at that time, a lot of running. But they've become sophisticated, highly sophisticated in promoting the game and in playing the game.
Yes, the old days, the run set up the pass. These days, it's just the opposite. 2nd and 7. Jarius Jackson trying to take advantage of the turnover. A nice move to get outside Loftus on the blitz. Now he'll run down the sideline and forced out of bounds by Shabazz. He'll move the yardsticks and into the red zone.
Ernie, I'm wondering, who are some of the great players from your era, the players that you remember that stand out above the rest?
Well, going back quite a few years, long before you were born, well, we talk about people like Russ Jackson and Ronnie Lancaster and George Reed and John LeGrone and so many. Even Tom Wilkinson, they kid him about his playing and everything, but he was a great quarterback and an all-star for several years.
1st and goal from the 6. Joe Smith hammered as he got close to that goal line. The CFL's leading rusher and leading the league with 16 rushing touchdowns, just 1 away from tying the BC Lion record.
And you see the BC Lions, they're finally getting their groove. Like we said before, Edmonton Eskimos had the momentum early in this game. But you knew the BC Lions were going to show up eventually, and now they have in the 2nd quarter.
Joe Smith wearing the balaclava. Come on, Ernie, they didn't wear balaclavas when it was above 0 in your day. Here we go. 2nd and goal from the 2. Double tight end formation. The give is to Joe Smith. Straight arm outside. Touchdown. Joe Smith with his 17th rushing touchdown to tie the BC Lion record set by Corey Philpott and Larry Key.
And this was all Joe Smith on this play. I mean, the line does their job blocking. It's one-on-one. Great straight arm. Not a big straight arm or anything, but just keeps Samuels away from his body enough to get that corner and get into the end zone.
Oh, this BC offense has been struggling through the air, and it's Joe Smith to the rescue on the ground, as he has done all year, helping this BC team that has been battered at quarterback, losing its starter and its backup. Joe Smith to the record books as a BC Lion here today.
Stop, Joe.
Joe Smith has tied the BC Lions record for rushing touchdowns with his 17th here this afternoon.
And Joe Smith is a smart running back. He sees all of these guys in the middle. Edmonton had success early in the game, so he decides instead of going to punch it out so it's one-on-one, he knows to one-on-one he can beat almost anybody in this league. And again, using that nice straight arm on the outside and getting to the corner of the end zone.
And now Joe Smith is within 2 touchdowns of Mike Pringle's CFL record of 19 rushing touchdowns. Damian Anderson from the 15-yard line, the rookie, straight up the middle. Look at him go. A bull in a china shop. Tries to get outside, and he does. Down the sidelines with some blocks. Inside, and finally brought down. What a flag. Down. Dante Marsh back to the rescue on special teams after an 81-yard return by Damian Anderson out of Northwestern.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming back.
Oh, yeah. He got tired for nothing. I mean, it's too bad.
Holding Edmonton, number 55. The 10-yard penalty from ball held. First down.
Mike Botterill charged with holding on an aggressive return.
And you hate to see a play like that go for nothing. This is the reason why all 12 players have to be on the same page. I mean, when you have 11 guys doing what they're supposed to do and one guy holding, brings a 81-yard play back, that could have been a big momentum changer for Edmonton.
Venerable Ernie Afghana still with us here in the broadcast booth in his home park, the Commonwealth Stadium. You got a chance to cover the legendary Hugh Campbell when he had that string of 5 consecutive Grey Cups here. What about Wally Buono?
Oh, Wally Buono is certainly in that class, maybe better in some people's minds. In the past 18 years, he's done a great job. I don't think he's missed the playoffs more than once over all that period of time. And he's in the last 4 or 5 years with BC, he's averaged about 12 wins a year. That's impressive, very impressive.
Yes, 17 years in the playoffs, and Wally Buono has established himself with a Hall of Fame career, to be sure. You know, Ernie and I had the privilege of working together at the Calgary Stampede in the final years before he went into retirement. I understand you're a good golfer, and the guys in the booth want to know how many of your friends are you still taking money from on the golf course?
I wish that were true.
Here's LaFours, a crossing route complete to Fred Stamps, a straight arm, and the import receiver has a first down as he's tracked down from behind by Dante Marsh. A reminder, warrior of the game, we'd like you to go online to cbcsports.ca during the second half and cast your vote for the player who has shown grit and courage and the heart of a warrior, and we'll let you know who wins in the post-game show. Warrior of the Game is brought to you by the all-new 2007 GMC Sierra, professional grade. On first down, handoff to Damian Anderson, and that big back who just had that electrifying 81-yard return wiped off because of the penalty has a tough carry of 2 yards. Well, Ernie, it's been a real treat to have you back in the booth with us here this afternoon.
Pleasure.
Great to see you again. You're looking terrific.
Nice to see how you guys work. Nice going.
Ernie Afghana, a member of the CFL on CBC broadcast crew from 1953 to 1980. Of course, he was a fixture in Olympic competition for CBC Sports from 1968 to 1996, and joining us on this celebration tour across the country, celebrating 55 years of the CFL on CBC. And this has got to concern Wally Buono and the BC Lions, as their big man on that D-line, Tyrone Williams, is down.
Yes, we see the play here. It looks like he took a knee where you don't want a guy to take a knee, and he's down for a little while. Hopefully it's not anything too serious. Just got the wind knocked out of him, so to speak.
What a workhorse he has been on that D-line, Kahari, leading the BC Lion defense in tackles with 58 coming into this game and 15 tackles in the last 2 games alone. Also a reminder that tonight, Major League Soccer on CBC at 1:30 a.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. Pacific time. It's Toronto at Los Angeles. We'll have the encore tomorrow at 1 p.m. with live streaming at 10 p.m. Eastern time on cbcsports.ca. Second and 7 after that 3-yard carry by Damian Anderson, the rookie tailback. 5-man rush from BC. LaFours standing in the pocket, delivering a crossing route, incomplete. Flags down. Lamar Glover hammering Jason Tucker before he got his hands on the ball. Reaching over from behind. Is that the call, interference?
That is the call, interference. I thought it was a beautiful play by Glover, but the refs definitely have a closer look than we do. But again, you see LaFours looking at him all the way. Tucker, I guess he gets his backhand on Tucker too quickly before the ball is there. But it looks like he did he had him by the helmet also. I think the refs are always going to call that.
Face mask. BC, number 27, 15-yard penalty from point of last scrimmage. First down.
So you're right, it was a terrific play by DB to break it up, but then it was the face mask that caught him.
It was, and that's a great play by the refs to catch that face mask. They didn't call the pass interference because there wasn't any, and he did everything right except he had that backhand on Tucker's face mask. It's definitely something you can't do.
Well, help young Jason, or rather Stephen LaFours, hails from the University of Louisville Cardinals, had the highest pass completion percentage in the school's history at 66. And that running play to Tyler Ebell is going nowhere as Aaron Hunt gobbles him up.
Aaron Hunt and Williams are such a force in the middle. Going back to both Hunt and Williams, these guys are not only guys that get sacks, but they get tackles by the bunches. And usually you'll see defensive tackles. They're there to make up room for the linebackers and allow the linebackers to get tackles. They get the tackles themselves.
How about that D-line? Aaron Hunt, the rookie of the year in the CFL 1 year ago. To his left, Cam Wake, who is the prohibitive favorite to win it this year. LaFour's firing. A hook route is complete right near the first down marker. And it's Andrew Nowak, who had a drop earlier in the first quarter, holds on. And it'll be close to a first down. Cam Wake, this year's favorite, at least in the West for Rookie of the Year, is wearing the mic today for the CFL and CBC.
Brought to you by Rogers, Canada's most reliable wireless network.
What? What's my name? What?
He's going to wreck our microphone before the day's over.
I love it.
What a force, though, leading the CFL with his 13th sack of the season here this afternoon. Second in tackles on this BC defense, and also tied for the league lead with 3 forced fumbles.
And very enthused about his job. You love to see somebody who loves what they're doing.
The Eskimos, with a drive that started at their own 28, are now at the 38 of the BC Lions. Bunch formation to the wide side of the field. LaFour's handing off on that play to Tyler Ebell, twisting and turning. And Ebell, with a second effort, will have a first down.
Great effort by Ebell. I'm really liking the game plan for the Edmonton Eskimos right now. In the past, they have been accused of not mixing it up, not running the football consistently throughout the game or abandoning the run. But it looks like they're staying committed to it. They're giving Ebell a chance to get loose. Most running backs, they get better as the game goes on. I'm sure Ebell is the same way.
That was his 7th carry. He has 46 yards so far. The handoff again, and this time it is smoked out. Otis Floyd and Aaron Hunt with a big tackle. Points have come in dribs and drabs for this Eskimo offense, and Ebell says they better get going.
I'd say offensively, we haven't put up the points that we needed to in different situations. As far as red zone, we haven't been very successful in putting up points off turnovers, and that's just something that we need to do to win football games.
Yes, the Eskimos have only 1 rushing touchdown by a running back this year, and that was Tyler Ebell. Crossing route, incomplete, a flag on the play. Corey Banks in coverage with Jason Tucker. They both went down, and then the flags flew.
Yeah, and Corey Banks has no reason to be angry on this play. He had his arm wrapped around Tucker on this play. Tucker gives him a nice little double move where he makes it look like he's going to the outside and then comes inside. He grabs him by the hip, trying to intercept that football, and got caught.
Pass interference, BC, number 24, automatic first down.
No, Corey, no need to be mad on that one. You just smile and say, you know what, I didn't get away with that one, and I got to come back and try it the next time.
Well, this ball-hawking BC defense is aiding and abetting this Edmonton offense. The face mask called earlier in the drive, and now the pass interference. Play action, LaFour's throwing the deep corner route for Tucker, and it's just too far. And incomplete. Flag has been thrown at the goal line on the play, and a timeout called on the field as the benches are given the 3-minute warning at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. Back in the glorious sunshine here in Edmonton, and the penalty was to Aaron Fiacconi.
Yeah, we see Fiacconi right here, just has his face mask on, hand on the face mask.
So it's 2nd and 25 from the 28. The Eskimos pushed outside the red zone. LaFours in the pocket. Outlet pass to Ebel. Ebel head down. And he gets close to the 15-yard line. Not even close to the original line of scrimmage. And so after 2 trips into the red zone, the Eskimos still unable to generate a touchdown.
And this has to be so frustrating. I mean, you look at the 2 playoff teams, the 2 non-playoff teams right now in the league, which are Edmonton and Hamilton. The big similarity between both of these teams, they do not cash in when they get into the red zone. I mean, coming away with 3 field goals after the first half that they've played so far is really unacceptable.
Sean Fleming 2 for 2 in the field goal department today. This for the lead. From the 22, it's up and no good. A chip shot. And that just tells you how tough the Eskimos have had it trying to score points. Wide for a single to tie the game at 7. Monday at 8, money-hungry entrepreneurs pitch their business ideas to 5 cutthroat investors in hopes of walking away with cold, hard cash. Catch an all-new episode of Dragon's Den, Monday at 8 on CBC. Well, the Eskimos had 3 field goals in their 29-9 loss back in July at BC, and here they have 2 field goals and a single now after a drive that took nearly 6 minutes off the clock, resulted in just 1 point after that costly penalty to Fiacone. Jarius Jackson deep in the drop. A hook route is complete to Jason Claremont, and his first catch of the football game. He takes a divot.
Yeah, going back to Edmonton, it's not about the scoring points as you see Jarius Jackson drop back. I mean, this game has no business being tied. BC has only had 1 very good drive, but it amounted in a touchdown, and that is the difference.
Gain of 8 on the catch by Claremont. 2nd and 2. On the ground, Joe Smith gets the call, reverses his field, and he won't get the first down. As Robert Brown brings him to a halt. And again, that natural grass preventing Joe Smith from cutting.
BC is going to have to think of a different game plan. I know they want to run Joe Smith. 2nd and 2, you're going to assume that Joe Smith can get those yards, but Edmonton has come up with the answer for that. They load the lineup with people and really anticipate the run, and doing a very good job so far.
Paul McCallum with an average of 44.9 yards. Shanks this one, trying to angle it though out of bounds. Lenny Williams has it on the first bounce at the 25. Gets a seam and a block and scoots across the 42-yard line for a 17-yard return. 1:44 until halftime. Elliott and the panel standing by to digest this first half. And then we'll go back in the day and talk about the great Edmonton dynasty that once ruled the turf wars of the CFL. All coming up at the half. The CFL on CBC.
There's a lot of time left for the Edmonton Eskimos with 1:44, and I like the way LaFours is playing. He is really managing this team well. They just have to stop with the small mistakes that they're making time after time.
First down, LaFours and the Eskimos at their own 41. A 6-receiver set. LaFours, short drop. Now he'll run, gets away, and then is snagged on the shoestring. Tackle by Cameron Wake. No huddle offense here in the final 2 minutes of this first half.
And a good decision by LaFours there. He pulls the ball down when he doesn't see anyone open. Almost breaks that for a big gain.
So LaFours calling the plays at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 5. Bunch formation. BC blitzing. LaFours flushed by Otis Floyd. Gets it away. Wide open is Andrew Nowacki, who steps out of bounds to stop the clock. And another Edmonton first down.
Oh, and Nowacki, I know, is wishing that he had a yard or 2 more because he had nothing but real estate behind him as we look at this play. LaFours gets out of the pocket, and there is no one down here, folks. He has a clear shot to the end zone if he can catch that and take off.
Yeah, he looked up and saw daylight, but he was already on his way out of bounds. The gain, 9 and a first down. At midfield. LaFour is rolling the pocket right, slide protection, loading up and throwing downfield. It's hanging up and nearly intercepted. A gift falls in and out of the hands of Baron Miles, the safety.
Oh, Baron Miles is not going to see many easier balls than that. You want to come up with that ball and stop this drive, especially how LaFour is playing so far. Just get them off the field. Again, Baron Miles.
Miles could have had his 4th pick. Couldn't hold on.
Oh, yeah, you know the old cliche that DBs are defensive backs for a reason. And he showed it there.
They can run fast, but they can't catch. Spoken like a true quarterback.
You hope they can't catch in my case.
2nd and 10. LaFour's throwing to the flats again. It's complete to Kamau Peterson, and Peterson struggling himself with the footing. Will stop the clock shy of the first down. And just shy of the 45-yard line. Kamau Peterson on pace for a career year here in Edmonton. Coming into this game, leading the team with 778 yards through the air.
Yeah, this was a good
3rd and about 2. And they're going to punt.
Yeah, real nice by Kamau Peterson to try to get that first down. I thought they might go for this ball, this play, because with only 1:13 left on the clock, they want to keep things going in their favor, but can't argue with the punt call either.
And now maybe they're having second thoughts over at the Eskimo bench as Edmonton has called a timeout.
I think the coaches want to discuss this. As you see Chapdelaine over with Coach Machocha, they want to discuss this. They know they have things going in their favor right now. They've changed it.
Now they're bringing in the heavy team. After a sober second thought during the timeout, Jacques Chapdelaine and Danny Machocha deciding to be risk takers here on 3rd down and more than a yard to go.
You get 3 downs, why not use them all, especially at this time and the way the Edmonton defense is playing. You feel pretty secure that even if they do get the ball back, Edmonton has a very good chance to stop BC.
So a challenge issued to this big BC defense. 3rd and more than a yard. On the ground, contact. And this is going to be very, very close, as Brent Johnson made the tackle on Tyler Ebell. Yeah, I don't think he made it.
No, I don't think this is close enough. They brought the heavy team in. They put big on big. And the BC Lions, that great wall in front, starting with Brent Johnson and Williams, beat their blocks and stop Edmonton before they can get the first.
And so that will be a turnover, the 2nd of the game after the interception, now on downs. And this BC team has feasted on turnovers. They're going to measure it.
Yeah. They're just measuring because they have to. Edmonton did not get this first down for sure.
Still a good yard short, but this BC team has flourished in the turnover department, leading the CFL in that category. And in fact, 5 times in the last 5 games, they forced turnovers in the red zone. Otis Floyd here ripping the ball from the arms of Charles Roberts and denying what looked like a comeback bid in the dying minutes by the Bombers.
None was bigger than Otis Floyd. These guys go for turnovers.
Jackson just 2 for 6 passing. There's his 3rd completion of the game, and it goes to Jason Claremont. And he's down at the 50-yard line, a first down with 1:05 on the clock. But turnovers have fueled this BC football team. Listen to this, Kari. The Lions have scored 16 touchdowns and 8 field goals off turnovers this year. What can they do with this opportunity in the dying minute of this first half?
They know what to do with the ball once they get it.
First down at the Edmonton 50. Jarius Jackson throwing downfield and nearly intercepted. G-Roy Simon, the intended receiver. William Loftus, the safety, had to go through his hands, and he may have lost it in the sun.
Oh, yeah, and that was one Jarius Jackson definitely didn't want to throw. He must not have located the safety. As you look at his eyes, he's looking at G-Roy Simon all the way. Doesn't locate the free safety, which is one thing you have to do as a quarterback. Loftus was in prime position, but can't come up with the catch.
Second down, Isaac Keys and Mike Botter will come into the game on defense for Edmonton. 2nd and 10. Jarius Jackson straight back, flags down, a crossing route to Claremont, goes nowhere as A.J. Gass slams the big slot back to the turf.
And who else but A.J. Gass? I mean, he was pleading to Jarius Jackson, please throw it, and he did. We see an offsides call on the BC Lions.
Offside, BC number 19, decline. 3rd down.
Paris Jackson offside, and Wally Buono's team will not take advantage of the turnover by the Eskimos. There's the big hit by A.J. Gass, one of the toughest receivers in the league.
Oh yeah, I saw A.J. Gass all the way on this play. He's trailing him. He knew he was going to throw it, so he kind of gives a half circle, getting ready to hit Claremont, and comes up with a pinpoint perfect hit.
Well, no question, this Eskimo defense has come to play. There's the sun into the visor of Lenny Williams. His first game back since a knee injury forced him out of the lineup during the Labor Day Classic in Calgary. The 7th punt of the first half.
Heads up, fellas, hang
for
on.
BC, and a timeout has now been called by the BC Lions.
Yeah, BC Lions just want to get out of this half with it being 7-7, so they run off the clock. They know that things aren't happening well on offense, which always leads to the question, are we going to see one of those other 2 quarterbacks?
I was just going to bring that up. This will be a test of Wally Buono's patience with Buck Pierce ready to play, and Dave Dickinson back in uniform for the first time since he suffered the concussion on July 13th. There's Buck Pierce, suffered the separated shoulder in his throwing arm August 17th against the Calgary Stampeders. So halftime looming, and questions perhaps to come in that BC locker room, with Jarius Jackson completing just 3 passes so far.
Card is active
in the first half. Jason Goss and Lenny Williams back to return the punt of Paul McCallum. McCallum will try to angle it out of bounds. He doesn't get it there. Inside of the 8-yard line, Williams bellying back, loses ground, and finally gets back. A loss of 2 yards on a 41-yard punt. And let's compare the quarterbacks here this afternoon.
And yeah, Stefan LaForce is playing great football. Going back to Jarius Jackson, I think one of the things that helps him out is that he has history on his side. I mean, he had a game a few weeks back in Saskatchewan where he had a terrible first half and comes back in the second half and plays lights out football. So Wally Buono knows what he can do, and especially knows what he can do in that 3rd and 4th quarter when you need your quarterback.
That's a good point, because in the Saskatchewan game he had but 3 completions in the first half, just 4 here this afternoon. And the Eskimos will be conservative here, deep in their own territory, and just run the final seconds off the clock. And Jarius Jackson will have a chance to get back with his coaches and try to get this offense going in the second half. But as you mentioned, he has been known for his comeback theatrics in relief this year.
And despite how they played on offense, the score is still 7-7.
A tie football game as the gun sounds to end the first half of play. Jackson struggling. Stefan LaForce still cutting his teeth in just his 2nd CFL start, as the headmaster of all coaches in the Canadian Football League goes to the locker room to regroup. Right now, here's Steve with Danny Machocha.
Thank you, Mark. Danny, are you concerned about your offense's lack of production in the red zone?
Well, obviously I am. We were there a few times and we didn't capitalize, but let's try to give them credit. I mean, we did march the football field versus a pretty good football team last time I checked.
The veterans had an all-veterans meeting. Does it look to you like maybe the veterans are responding?
This team has played hard all year long. So if the meeting helped, that was fine. But I don't think that meeting is something that's going to put us over the top, or or it be our Achilles heel for the rest of the season.
Thank you, Danny. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Guys.
A terse Danny Machocha looking on the sunny side of this first half. His football team has 7 points through the kicking game. The only touchdown by this man, Joe Smith.
you're an Eskimo fan watching this game, you've got to be saying, I love the improvement in the special teams. I love the way our defense is playing. I love the way we're competing. But boy, we should be up about 17-7. The panelists all said to remind them of Saskatchewan when BC came back when the Rough Riders didn't bury them. Here's Jarius Jackson slipping. There they are changing the cleats. Now, Sean Millington went into the Edmonton room and stole a cleat himself.
Well,
what are you looking at there?
I've got one here from Antico Dalton, and you see this is the kind of cleat that Jarius Jackson had in. It's way too short for the grass out there. These long white ones, those are the ones that you need. They give you way better traction, and you're going to see all the BC guys come out after half wearing those.
David?
Well, that's what you want here, because the grass it's not like it's short. It's just there's a clump of grass in there, and it's tough to break through that. So you got to go long when you come here.
And that's been a big factor in the first half. Greg, also Stefan LaForce was the story coming in. Your analysis, 11 of 21, 112 yards and interception.
Well, for a young guy, he looks very comfortable. He's comfortable in the pocket. The offensive line, surprisingly, has done a very good job giving him some time to throw the ball, but he's operating the offensive game plan that's given to him by Jacques Chapdelaine. A couple bad passes, a little bit high, not necessarily the greatest of accuracy, but those receivers around him have to step up and start making some plays.
Funnily enough, Greg, it's actually Jarius Jackson who's looking a little more green at this particular point in time, not having completed a lot of balls, but as Kahari Jones referred to, he said that he's had success doing that, so maybe we'll see him come out second half and light it up.
But it's like Danny McCoach has said to us. I mean, LaForce has a strong understanding of offense from college all the way through. So he's a guy who's going to pick this up. And I think in the future, he's going to be a very good quarterback in this league.
Greg, on the sidelines, BC doesn't show much to you right now.
Wow, they're playing with no emotion. If I'm Wally Buono, the head coach of the BC Lions, I'm going in and just ripping at my football team because you know what? They are just going through the motions. If, in fact, the BC Lions are going to be able to continue to win football games, they have to be a physical bunch. Right now, they're not.
And, Greg, I saw Rob Murphy on a run by Joe Smith. Joe runs into his back. Rob's spinning around, doesn't quite know where to go, and that's just typical of a football team that doesn't have the necessary focus, and they need to come out a lot more sharp in the second half.
And Edmonton has to make the big plays. When you're playing against the champion, you got to make the big plays when they are given to you. There is no second chance here.
Well, and on offense for the BC Lions, it is about Joe Smith. And the Edmonton Eskimos are doing a very good job of rotating defensive linemen. They have about 6 guys they're rotating through, and that keeps them very fresh. And they're doing a good job against Joe Smith.
All right, we got time for quick answers each. You heard Mark and Kahari bring up the point. Do you make the quarterback switch if you're Wally Buono?
Not yet. I leave Jarius Jackson there for at least a half of the third quarter.
No, not even close. It's a close ball game. You keep Jarius in there.
I'm riding with my date. That's who I brought to the dance.
Still with the dance and the date motif. I heard that Benefield used to switch a lot back when he was at Bakersfield.
Whoa, Bakersfield, come on
Northridge. Wally Buono with Steve Armitage still to come.
Byron Parker, Arland Bruce, and teaming up with the Argos, Cody, a War Amps champ. Cody lost his leg in a lawnmower accident. Now he's a safety ambassador.
Whatever game you play,
Play safe. A message from the Argos, the CFL, and the War Amps.
Nissan, the official trucks and SUVs of the CFL.
Back in the day, a shift in time. Brought to you by Nissan, trucks and SUVs.
The old saying, defense wins championships, and it's no wonder Edmonton has 13 Grey Cups in franchise history. This organization has had some of the best defenders to ever play in the CFL. In the 60s, it was two-time All-Star John Legrone who led the Eskimos defensive line with quiet confidence, quiet aggression for 8 years. Coming after him, Alberta Crew, led by Dan Kepley and the great Dr. Death Dave Fennell. both Hall of Famers who were the backbone of the defense in the dynasty years of the 70s. Later would come Danny Bass, Hall of Famer in 2000, led the team to the '87 championship, and of course, 5-time CFL Most Outstanding Defensive Player, Willie Pless. Still can't believe that the Toronto Argonauts traded Danny Bass. Horrible, horrible trade. CBCSports.ca, our live online post-game report. Joe Smith with BC's touchdown, 17 on the year, tying Larry Key and Corey Philpott for the team record, 2 back of Mike Pringle's CFL record.
The CFL on CBC is brought to you by Dodge and their retailers. Grab life by the horns.
We'll color the first half, a defensive struggle. 7-7, the Lions and Eskimos as we get set for the start of the third quarter. And on the sidelines, here's Steve with Wally Buono.
Not that Wally should be overly concerned with what our panel thinks at halftime, Wally, but they all agreed you should stay with Jarius at quarterback. Do you stay with Jarius?
Well, that's not even a thought right now. You know, it wasn't a good first half for our whole team. We were a little bit sluggish, but again, that's football. It's 7-7. The second half's going to make a big difference.
How do you generate more passing offense?
Well, I think the big thing you got to do is you got to stay on the field, and for some reason right now we're not getting first downs.
Wally, thanks for this. Good luck in the second half.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve. You know, the only road loss the BC Lions have suffered this year was earlier in the season at Montreal when the Lions went in and lost to an Alouette team that didn't have its starting quarterback Anthony Calvillo, and Wally Buono was furious after that game, saying his team was too complacent. Do you see similar signs in the first half of this game?
Oh, I definitely do. I agree with Greg Ferris that the BC Lions just didn't have a whole lot of fire in that first half, and they're lucky that this game is 7-7 right now, because they can definitely be behind by a lot more points. But luckily, the BC Lions and the Edmonton Eskimos didn't punch in when they had the chance.
Well, the first half statistics are not flattering for the Lions. And look at the passing yard difference there.
Yeah, exactly. Edmonton dominated this first half again. They have to take advantage of those situations when they get the ball down into the red zone. You see they're winning in every other category but points. This has been happening for a couple of years with the Edmonton Eskimos. They need to find a way to punch in and get majors instead of 3 points.
Wally Buono said his team has to stay on the football field. In that first half, Edmonton had 5 minutes more time of possession than the Lions, but they could not capitalize on 2 forays into the red zone. Here's Ian Smart, full steam ahead, and he's knocked down at the 25-yard line as Alexis Boenge is in on the tackle. In that first half, the passing numbers weren't pretty. Let's check Jarius Jackson's distribution.
No, not a whole lot to look at on the passing distribution. He completed a couple of short passes, but every time he tried to throw the ball deep, either a player slipped on his team or he threw into coverage. So he's really going to have to figure out what he's seeing from the Edmonton defense, because it looks like they're confusing him a little bit back there.
And as Wally told Steve, they're not ready to go to panic stations yet. It's a 7-7 football game. And Jackson goes back to pass crisply with a connection to Geroy Simon. And that's the way he opens the first half, with a first down pass.
That was a great start to the second half. Like we mentioned earlier, Jarius Jackson is one of those guys that gets better as the game goes on. He kind of reminds you of a running back in that respect. The more times he gets back there, the more comfortable he gets. And even though he had the tough first half, you know he can come back from that because he's done it in the past.
Geroy Simon, the number 2 leading receiver in the West Division, behind Calgary's Nick Lewis. First down, Jackson throwing, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Simon. But the play was broken up by the ball hawk, Jason Goss.
That's the first time we mentioned Goss's name. He got beat on the curl earlier. He wasn't going to get beat this time as we see Jarius Jackson. He gets out in space, finds Geroy Simon, but just doesn't locate this ball where it needs to be. Needs to hit Geroy Simon on the other side. Goss is right there. He knows what to do when the ball is in his area. He's either going to intercept it, he's going to knock it down, but he's going to make sure the receiver doesn't catch it.
Goss, the second-year man out of Texas Christian University, has 5 interceptions to lead the Eskimo defense. 2 returned for touchdowns this year. On the blitz, Shabazz gives chase. The ball is away and intercepted. And it's Stanford Samuels with his first interception of the season, and he's still on his feet, downfield, twisting and turning, and finally brought down. The Eskimos turn the tables on the turnover kings from BC.
Stanford Samuels comes up with a fantastic interception right here. Again, this defense has been carrying this team for the last 4 or 5 games. One thing that they want to make sure is they cause some interceptions, cause some turnovers, and they do it right here. Again, the tunnel vision by Jarius Jackson. He's just looking at Geroy Simon and the man over him, Goss. He has Goss beat, but he doesn't see Samuels in the backfield, and Samuels makes it happen, knows what to do when he gets up with the ball.
Big pick and a big turn of events here to start the second half. Play action, LaForce throwing backside screen. It's batted down on the play.
All the way. Oh.
Stanford Samuels celebrating his first interception of the season. The intended receiver was Damian Anderson. As we look at the passing distribution of Stefan LaForce in that first half.
Very positive first half by Stefan LaForce. I mean, he completed all the short balls. He went deep and wasn't successful. In the middle, doing pretty well also. Overall, a very good game so far.
2nd and 10. Great opportunity for the Eskimos. LaForce straight back. Throwing wide side, wide open is Andrew Nowacki, reaching for that first down marker. They'll spot him a yard shy. So it's 3rd down and a yard to go, and they're in the red zone for the 3rd time this afternoon.
Oh yeah, and red zone again. You want to come up with majors when you get down here. It's so close, but they did have a hard time getting a first down the last time they went for a first down. So that has to play an effect into the coach's mind.
So LaForce conversing with his coaches, Chocha and Chapdelaine, all the way down to the 25-yard line, being told by the officials to move back to the bench, but they want to get a close look at just how close this really is. Oh, it's a healthy yard.
It is a full yard. And then a little bit. So this is going to be an interesting choice. This team
already turned it over on downs once.
They have, and it looks like they're going the opposite direction than they did in the first half, going with the field goal team. I know people in the crowd aren't going to be all that happy about this.
No, it's rather boring.
It is. It is. You know, teams that are trying to win football games, you want to see them go for something like this and feel confident that they can get it.
Sean Fleming 2 for 3 in the first half. Shanked a chip shot from 22.
And this is the first place team they're playing against. So you don't know how many opportunities they're going to get in the red zone before this team on defense wakes up, before they generate some turnovers of their own.
This placement will come from the 25-yard line at the left hash mark. You're right, Kahari. The Eskimos haven't scored a touchdown against BC this year. This is their 2nd game. They had 3 field goals in the first encounter back at BC Place. 2 field goals and a single here today. Fleming from the 25 is good. So the conservative Eskimos take the lead on a 25-yard Fleming field goal. This telecast is copyrighted by the CFL and licensed exclusively to CBC, and any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game is prohibited. This week in BC, Wally Buono rankled some members of the Eskimos by saying he hoped to get all of his quarterbacks into the game here today by getting up by enough points. Right now, they're down by 3, and there's an incompletion to Lyle Green, the fullback, leaking out of the backfield to make it 2nd and 10 for this struggling BC offense.
Yeah, you talked about the running back leaking out. This offense is leaking right now. When you see those two quarterbacks on the sidelines, you know they're proven guys that have played well. But again, Edmonton is not really taking advantage of the play of the BC Lions offense, and this is allowing Jarius Jackson to stay in the ball game and to keep going to try to work through this.
Lions red hot coming into this game on a 4-game win streak and winning 5 of their last 6. Back to pass on 2nd and 10, bobbled and incomplete. A.J. Gass in the thick of that one as Corey Rogers was the intended receiver, and the Lions are going to have to punt again.
Again, Jarius Jackson is not seeing the whole field. He's looking at his receiver and his receiver only. You look at his eyes again. He's just looking at his receiver go down. He knows where his receiver is going to be. Look for the defenders. As a quarterback, you're looking at seeing what the defense is going to do. You don't care what your guys, because you know what they're going to do.
McCallum set to punt. And you have to wonder, as a quarterback, if Jarius Jackson is hearing some footsteps with the likes of Buck Pierce and Dave Dickinson back in uniform. But we have seen him struggle and come through late in the game. There's a fumbled punt return and a turnover. Flags are down at the 40. But the Lions say they've recovered a bobbled and fumbled punt by Lenny Williams.
I think they got the 5-yard infraction, though, so again, the Edmonton Eskimos avoid a costly turnover.
No yards. BC, number 25, 15-yard penalty. First down.
Jerome Dennis called for no yards for the 2nd time this afternoon, and Lenny Williams says, my bad.
Oh, yeah, it was his bad. But he did do the right thing in going up to try to field this punt. Most times the coaches want you to field those short punts because they anticipate that somebody is going to be within that 5 yards.
And because that was in the air when the infraction occurred, it's a 15-yard penalty. At midfield now for the Eskimos. They'll hand off, and that big rookie running back, Damian Anderson, is a freight train to stop as he runs roughshod through the heart of that BC defense for a first down.
And it looks like Edmonton has found the 1-2 punch that the guys were talking about in the pregame show as far as getting a big boy in there to offset Tyler Ebel.
Damian Anderson at 5'11", 218, had 40 starts at Northwestern University and was the 6th all-time leading rusher in Big Ten history. On the ground, he gets the call again. Look at the speed of the big man. Outside, a flag down as he tries to turn the corner. But there are flags on the play.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure this is on one of the offensive linemen. Usually they hold inside there, but once the guy gets outside, they have to make sure to release that hold and allow the defensive lineman to run freely.
Holding. Edmonton, number 63, 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Big Joe McGrath, left tackle, trying to handle that man, Cam Wake.
Yeah, we watched Joe McGrath, and he can get away with the holding while the guys are close, but soon as he breaks free, he has to let go of his hands, and he doesn't do it fast enough.
Some of the guys call him, what is it, clasp or clutch? When he gets you in the clasp, he doesn't let you go.
Oh, yeah.
The 4-year man out of Miami. 1st and 20. Eskimos back to midfield. The fours, a crossing route, complete to Kamal Peterson, and the Eskimos' leading receiver hustles downfield for a big first down.
Great play by Kamal Peterson. Catches the BC Lions in zone and off guard, not expecting him to come full speed. And soon as he catches this ball, LaForce puts it right in his chest so he can catch it and keep running. Ryan Phillips has the guard on the outside, and he doesn't do it.
That was just the 2nd catch of the game for Kamal Peterson, a 36-yard reception. And look at those numbers. He's on pace and has a chance for his first ever 1,000-yard season as a receiver, and he currently leads the way for the Eskimos through the air. Stefan LaForce, a big hole, he'll run. LaForce sliding to the 5-yard line, and another Eskimo first down. in the red zone for the 4th time. Can they finally put one in the end zone?
Oh, yeah, I know the coaches on the sideline are saying the same thing. Can they finally put this ball in? As we see LaForce, he looks back, very confident back there in the pocket, finds no one open, decides to take off, good speed for a quarterback, and makes it happen with his feet.
The gain is 12 on the run by Stefan LaForce. They'll spot the ball, 1st and goal from the BC 6-yard line. A bunch formation to the wide side for Edmonton. LaForce, a quick drop, waiting. Now he'll get out of the pocket. He's in trouble. Here comes Aaron Hunt. LaForce outside, touchdown.
Talked about LaForce and his speed. He shows the speed right here on this play, making something out of nothing. As we see LaForce go back, the BC Lions have everything covered in the middle, so LaForce decides to get outside, beating Aaron Hunt and Bear Miles to the corner of the end zone, showing off some of that track speed that he had in high school.
Stefan LaForce with a neat drive. And has his first ever CFL touchdown around the end on the ground for 6 yards. And the backup quarterback has given his football team a 10-point lead. The big Hoggies on that Edmonton offensive line pushing around that big defensive line for BC.
Yeah, they do a great job up front. These guys go front. They do a great job in the back. Everybody goes back. LaForce makes it happen on his own, but I want to show people this. He gets out, he's still looking downfield, and if you stop it up right there, he gives a little pump fake. It wasn't a whole lot, but it stops Bear Miles right here. It stops him up just enough to get to that corner of the end zone and to make it happen.
6 yards. He'll hang on to that football, his first CFL touchdown. Ian Smart loses it in the sun at the goal line, picks it up, heads upfield, and they've got him deep. Damian Anderson with a big play on special teams to back up some big runs on offense. And the BC Lions offense, which has 8 punts in 10 offensive possessions, has bad field position again.
Yes, they do. And that touchdown might have just opened the floodgates for Edmonton. That was all they were looking for, is a spark from the offensive side of the football. LaForce gives them that spark, and now let's see how Edmonton handles it, and really how the BC Lions can take the spark away from them.
It's the deepest start in their own end of the game for the BC offense in a double tight end formation at their own 8. And they'll go on the ground. And Joe Smith has just 2 yards as Shannon Garrett, who had 11 tackles to lead this Eskimo offense last week, makes a big one there. As we take you back to the drive, it began with this 36-yard pass and run play to Kamal Peterson. And Stefan LaForce using his legs upfield for 12. Another first down, can't find a receiver and scampers away from Wake, then Hunt, and 6 yards into the end zone for his first CFL TD.
Yeah, so great when you have a quarterback that is able to be that double threat. Not only pass, but throwing also, and he does a great job throwing and running the football.
The injured BC Lion is Joe Smith. After that short carry of 2 yards, Bill Rochelle working on him right now as the backup quarterback forced into the starting role. Stefan LaForce basks in the sunlight here today in Edmonton.
Yeah, and it looks like they're working on Joe Smith's left shoulder here. I mean, he is a hard downfield runner. He gets going downhill, and it doesn't look like a whole lot. I mean, Shannon Garrett gets in there and makes the tackle, but you never know what's going to affect the guy or what hit. If you're hit in a different kind of way, again, kind of clutching his left shoulder, but he doesn't land on it, so you don't know if this is a pre-existing thing or not, but he is not feeling very good right now.
Well, this would be a huge blow if it's serious to the BC offense. They've got him up. We've seen Joe Smith down a few times this year with back problems that caused numbness in his leg, and he was right back in the game. But let's take another look to see how this injury may have occurred. Maybe on the contact there, the initial contact, as he ran into his own man.
Yeah, it looked like he ran into his own man before getting started, and that sometimes hurts you because you're not expecting to get hit. And so your shoulders aren't ready for the contact.
So Ian Smart will go in to replace Joe Smith at tailback on 2nd and 8. Smart has 132 yards rushing on 26 carries so far this year and 2 touchdowns. Here comes the Edmonton blitz. The ball's away and complete to Jason Claremont. He breaks a tackle. Now he's still going. Here comes the Eskimos. Claremont in a foot race. Lenny Williams gives chase. He gets a block. Claremont and is caught from behind at the 10. But flags are down at the 30, right where Claremont made the catch, just as Jackson was leveled on the blitz.
And Jarius Jackson again, shown time and time again that he doesn't let the pass affect him. Edmonton goes with a full blitz.
Illegal contact and receiver. Edmonton declined. First down.
A 93-yard pass and run play to Jason Claremont, his longest of the season.
And I can't believe that Edmonton Eskimos would try go with the cover 0 blitz, which means everybody is one-on-one coverage. It's just giving the offense an opportunity to make a play. Make them drive the whole field instead of something like this happening where the BC Lions have been having trouble on offense all game. You give them a big play by trying a big maneuver down there, down in your own territory.
Way
Amazing.
down there. 93 yards, Kahari. First and goal from the 7 for the Lions in a turnabout here. Play action. Jackson throwing. Coming back to the ball is Claremont in traffic. He can't get it in the end zone and takes a good lick there. But the big hard-nosed receiver out of Regina has put them in scoring position.
Oh yeah, Claremont is like, get me out of here. Just ran 93 yards and then he has to make a fantastic catch and get tackled. His work is done for this series, I'm sure.
He was leaking oil at about the 30, but hung in there. And 93 yards for Claremont is the longest of his career. And he busts over the 100-yard plateau here on his 4th catch. 2nd and goal from the 3. The jumbo package in for the Lions. Pitch out, Ian Smart. Touchdown. Ian Smart with A.J. Gass on his back. Hurdles to the end zone.
Ian Smart makes it happen in there. They give him a sweep. He's different than Joe Smith, a smaller back. They don't get him within all that traffic. So there's 1 or 2 guys out there. A.J. Gass gives a great effort to try to keep him out of the end zone, but Smart gets low, gets just to the line.
A testament to the depth at running back for this BC team. With Joe Smith out injured, Ian Smart comes in and delivers on a 3-yard run for his 3rd CFL rushing touchdown. The point after is good, and the BC Lions answer back. Stefan LaFors with the Ian Smart touchdown. Jason Claremont has the game's most exciting play, a 93-yard catch and run.
This was all set up by the Edmonton Eskimos. You see they have everybody on the line, and Goss right here is the best cover guy. He's not covering, he's going in to blitz. So you have Shannon Garrett on Claremont, who has good coverage on him, but he goes for the ball, gets knocked down, and it turns into 93 yards because there's no safety help.
Kahari, it's 2nd and 8 from the 10-yard line.
And what are you doing going 0 anyway? There's no need to go 0 right there. Make the BC Lions drive the ball.
Shades of last year in Milt Stiegel's immaculate reception.
Yeah. Oh.
Tim Goodwell enjoying a big special teams play. Shannon Garrett could have made the tackle. He was hesitant and then got taken out by his own man.
Exactly, but all it takes is one guy making a mistake on that play, and then it becomes a 93-yard play. Again, we go back to it. He tries to go for the ball. He gets taken out by Omar Morgan trying to make the tackle. And again, it does have shades of the Milt Stiegel play where all it takes is one guy to make a mistake, and then it turns into a major play.
Stefan LaFors rolling right, throwing downfield. Gaylor's open, he's got it at midfield. And a first down, and LaFors is looking more and more poised.
I'm very impressed with what I see from Stefan LaFors. I mean, I understand now what Machocha says about him looking more poised than Ricky Ray did at an early age. Stephon LaForce looks like he's been there before, and that's what you want to see with the quarterback. Also, it's helping that his offensive line is giving him so much protection back there and allowing him to look down the field and make his reads.
Gain of 21 on the pass to Trevor Gaylor, just across midfield. First down. Eskimos play action again. LaForce trying to get away, and he does. Now he'll run, sliding to the 40. And what an elusive move to beat the sack master of the CFL, Cameron Wake.
Yeah, he wasn't getting caught twice. He's got his legs up under him right now, and he's making sure to use those legs to his advantage. Again, the play action fake. Cameron Wake gets off of his feet, and he knows just to keep the course, still run away. He gives a little pump fake, which even though he's 2 or 3 yards downfield, still stops the defenders.
Gain of 13 on the run past Wake in the BC defense by Stephon LaForce. Out of the huddle with a bunch formation to the wide side on first down at the 41 of BC. Handing off out of the shotgun. Ebel has a crease. Upfield met by Otis Floyd, who bear hugs him and takes him to the turf. Wednesdays on CBC. All your favorite characters are back this season for a brand new episode of Little Mosque on the Prairie. And then from the host of The Amazing Race, contestants take on the challenge of a lifetime on No Opportunity Wasted. Wednesday on CBC. A good-looking drive here going for the Eskimos. A 7-yard carry by Ebel. 2nd and 3. Ebel with 53 yards rushing on 10 carries, better than a 5-yard average, and he gets another one here. And he'll be very close to the first down on that 2nd and short situation. Cameron Wake making sure, after being embarrassed there by the quarterback.
Yeah, and this time he gets to the line of scrimmage at least, so when he falls forward, he gets even closer to the first down. So I think on this particular time, the Edmonton Eskimos are going to go for this one. I think it's close enough to go for.
Dave Ritchie's BC defense leading in sacks, leading in interceptions, and turnover hungry, but they're being tested here today by a vigorous Edmonton offensive line led by Trey Derelick in his 2nd start at center. 3rd and 1, and the Eskimos will punch it straight ahead. Otis Floyd seems to think they didn't get it.
I think Otis Floyd is wrong on this one. It looked like he got enough push that time, although Johnson met him soon as he got past that first level. Again, he stays low, does a great job in staying low, even though Johnson gets to him on the outside, along with Javi Glott.
So the drive is alive. First down, Eskimos at the BC 30. Motion now. Peterson waggling. The handoff, Ebel, and he goes off tackle right before Tyrone Williams, the leading tackler, makes the play for BC. Short gain on the play. Stephon LaForce getting the call to rally this Eskimo team with the injury to Ricky Ray. Says he can't take too much pressure if he's going to be good.
I just got to be more crisp and more, you know, anticipate more on my throws. And don't hold on to the ball a little bit too long, because obviously things break down, and you know, that's how sacks happen, and you put yourself in a hole.
2nd and 8. League-leading 11th interception.
Perfect timing for that clip, huh? You're talking about being crisp, and he just wasn't as crisp as he needed to be on that one. Tried to fit a ball in where maybe he shouldn't have even tried to throw this ball. I mean, he tries to get it between Javi Glott and Phillips, and he's looking to Javi Glott on this one and saying, okay, I have to make sure to not get it to Javi Glott, but he ends up throwing it behind his receiver. And Ryan Phillips, we all know what he can do when the ball is close to him. He's going to get the turnover.
Ryan Phillips, there's his lead. 11 interceptions, now 1 away from the record of 12 for BC set by Larry Crawford, and that's good news for BC as Joe Smith is back in the game and carrying the football. Let's check on his situation. Here's Steve.
Well, Joe Smith is back into the game, as Mark pointed out, and he is wearing a neck brace. The injury was a stinger from the neck down through the left shoulder. So they put a neck brace on, hoping to absorb some of the shock that Smith is likely to take. But I see that he's taken it off, so maybe it was just too uncomfortable, and it wasn't giving me any kind of range of motion in the neck area.
So a pinched nerve problem for Joe Smith. 2nd and 6. Jackson throwing the screen backside. It's dangerous and broken up. A long screen to the wide side of the field, and A.J. Gass is there to help break it up, and that was close to being picked off.
Oh my goodness, there were 3 guys over there that could have picked that ball off and intercepted it. I mean, they tried to go a screen. Edmonton has this read perfectly. And this time they come with the blitz, but they don't come with the full blitz. So they still have safety help back there. They still can read the play, and they read it effectively this time.
A.J. Gass putting on the horse collar at halftime for Edmonton.
It's a tough game.
Oh, yeah, he's battening down the hatches.
Yes, he is.
For this second half. And the Lions offense can't move the football. Lenny Williams awaiting Paul McCollum's punt. McCallum shanks it off the side of his foot. It bounces back and out of bounds. He doesn't look to be in top form here today with a 21-yard punt. Stefan LaForce fumbling the snap on 1st down and gets back down on top of it on the final play of the 3rd quarter here at Commonwealth Stadium.
Yeah, we see Stefan LaForce on this play. Just tries to hand the ball off before he gets the ball completely.
And so on that note, we'll take a break and get set for the 4th quarter. The Edmonton Eskimos fighting for their playoff lives, lead by a field goal as we start the 4th quarter here at Commonwealth Stadium. 2nd and 13 from the 51. LaForce straight back to the short side. Ebell has it, and he's quickly wrapped up on the play by Otis Floyd and taken out of bounds, well short of the 1st down. 3rd quarter statistics, Kahari.
Yeah, I think the statistics are evening out a little bit. They're due in a big part to that 93-yard pass play, but still, BC Lions haven't gotten it going rushing, and I like what Edmonton is doing running the football. The turnovers are playing a big part. Edmonton has been moving this ball all game long, but hampered by a few turnovers.
Fleming to punt. Ian Smart alone to return. Fleming gets a deep punt. It's going to go into the end zone. 15 yards deep and go out of touch through the back of the end zone for a punt single. Not what Fleming wanted. He wanted to hem BC deep in their own end again, but he'll get a 65-yard punt single and a 4-point lead now for the Eskimos.
Yeah, definitely not what he wanted, but the only good thing about that is now that they're up more than a field goal. I mean, there's still a lot of time left on the clock, but the more points you can get, the better, especially against BC. You know how explosive they can be.
They have Joe Smith back in the lineup. The Lions do, after he left with what has been described as a pinched nerve. He's back in that backfield in an I formation on 1st down, motion right, straight back to pass is Jackson. Quick release across the middle. It's complete to Geroy Simon. And Simon will have enough for a 1st down.
Yeah. Geroy Simon just does a quick hitter. They want to get their timing again. So Geroy Simon reads in the middle, gets the ball, and then gets down quickly because he sees Loftus coming at him at full steam and doesn't want to be any part of that.
Geroy Simon, as I mentioned earlier, red hot in the last 4 games, averaging over 100 yards a game. In the last 4 games alone, he's had about as many yards as he had in the previous 10. Just over 400. Quick release to the short side. It's complete And Paris Jackson will hold on and take a lick, forced out of bounds. And that'll be his first catch of the game. A reminder, Raptors basketball coming back to CBC. President's Choice Raptors basketball making its season debut Saturday, November 4 at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. The Raptors welcome the new look Boston Celtics to the Air Canada Centre as the NBA comes to the CBC. Second and 2 for the Lions after Paris Jackson gets involved in the passing game. Big men on the line of scrimmage. They'll hand off to Joe Smith, and Smith is stopped. No way! As Adam Braidwood leads the line of scrimmage defense.
Edmonton has definitely come to play today, especially on that defensive line and linebacking crew. Again, I don't see the BC Lions really switching it up too much. They're doing the same things that they normally do, and those things are not working today. As you see, Braidwood, the first guy in that play, gets his helmet almost knocked out, but he loves it.
Well, Braidwood, the sophomore out of Washington State, has been a ringleader here today, taking on this tough and nasty offensive line of the Lions. And they will force the BC Lions to punt again. And McCallum stands at his own 46. McCallum with a 21-yard shank the last time, delivers a beauty this time, but it bounces into the end zone, and Jason Goss is back to let it roll, and he'll drop to a knee and concede a single, a 69-yard single, and the margin is but 3 again. The Eskimos nursing a 3-point lead over the first place BC Lions as we bring you up to date on what's transpired so far. Stéphane Lefors, in his second start at quarterback, has thrown 184 yards and rushed for his first ever CFL touchdown. Sean Fleming with 3 field goals. Claremont with an electrifying 93-yard pass and run to set up Ian Smart's 3-yard touchdown run. Smart and Joe Smith with touchdowns on the ground for BC. And they'll go on the ground here as Damian Anderson, the rookie, carries up the gut. And to the sidelines, here's Steve.
Thank you, Mark. I'm with the Edmonton Eskimos injured quarterback Ricky Ray. Ricky, yesterday you visited the doctor. Was it a good news visit?
It was a good news visit. He says everything's going according to plan, and the big thing is you just need time to rest. And unfortunately, we're running out of games this season, so you know, right now I'm just trying to get it healed up and you know, make sure I'm coming back next year strong.
Did he give you any ideas when you can start rehabbing?
Yeah, you know, he wants me to rest it for another few weeks. You know, I can do some small stuff, but I can't start pushing it for another couple weeks.
Thanks for this, Ricky. Good luck.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Steve. Our best wishes are with Ricky Ray for a quick recovery, but he will not be able to come to the aid of his football team here this season. Anderson's carry on 2nd and 3, stopped by Cam Wake, and he'll be shy of the first down by about half a yard. So once again, a 3rd down gamble as the Lions move personnel in and out of the lineup here on this 3rd and 1 situation.
These plays have been close in the past, and this will be a game changer if something happens on this play. So very big play for Edmonton right now.
They'll try to sneak it, and it looks like they'll have it. And a first down for the Edmonton Eskimos. A reminder, get your evening started this evening with Scotiabank Hockey Tonight. The pregame setup for Hockey Night in Canada as the Leafs get set for the Pittsburgh Penguins and Sidney Crosby. And in the nightcap, the Oilers out on the coast against the Vancouver Canucks in Game 2 of our Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader. Scotiabank Hockey Tonight sets the table at 6:30 Eastern. First down at the 45 for Stéphane Lefors, taking on this big BC defense. Six receiver set for the Eskimos. LaForce firing wide side, a dangerous pass. It's caught by Jason Tucker, but look at that. Ryan Phillips looming, hiding in the weeds.
Dangerous is correct. I don't know if he wants to make a habit of throwing those passes too much. I mean, that wide side out is tough within itself, but then having Ryan Phillips over your receiver, fortunately he was throwing to a receiver like Tucker who knows how to use his body to his advantage and get his body between him and the ball.
Only the second catch of the game for Jason Tucker. 2nd and 5. Eskimos. Here comes the blitz. LaForce reads it, and a great strike to Jason Tucker, attacking the secondary. And Dave Ritchie may have been shaken up at the bench as Tucker was taken out of bounds.
You don't like to see that. Coaches are the only guys down there on the sideline unprotected, and they're usually looking so much at the plays and what they're going to call next that they can sometimes get involved in the play. As you watch this play, very nice executed play by Edmonton Eskimos to get the ball out on a blitz.
Dave tried to get away.
Looks to get taken out at the legs, which again, you definitely don't want to see that. He tries to get out of the way, but
Dave Ritchie being attended to by the Lions medical staff, a veteran coach of 47 years.
It looks like they're working on his knee over there. I mean, Dave Ritchie was my coach in Winnipeg, one of the best coaches that you've ever seen in this league, and again, you hope nothing is too serious.
Yes, it was just 3 years ago that Dave Ritchie went through a quadruple heart bypass operation, came through it with flying colors, and we sure hope it's not serious. And as they attend to Dave Ritchie at the sideline, we'll take a break here in Edmonton. You're looking live at the BC Lions bench, where defensive coordinator Dave Ritchie is still receiving attention after being plowed off his feet in a tackle on Jason Tucker. This was the scene just a few moments ago as Dave Ritchie was brought to his feet and looked visibly shaken on the play. And we'll get an update from Steve Armitage right after this play. Play action now. LaForce loading up, throwing downfield, and is intercepted. LeVar Glover on a busted route has an interception for the BC Lions, their 3rd of the game and his 3rd of the season. And Trevor Gaylor was the receiver who broke his route off early.
Yeah, it looked like LaForce was expecting Trevor Gaylor to run an in route. Gaylor stops in the middle of it, and Glover, you have to say that these BC Lions defensive backs know what to do when the ball gets close to them.
Dave Ritchie has the headset back on, and he's back in the game. Took a licking but keeps on ticking. On offense, Jarius Jackson, crossing route. It's complete to Jason Claremont in front of Stanford Samuels for a 1st down. Well, let's check in with Steve.
Thank you, Mark. I got over the BC Lions bench as quickly as I could, and Wally Bono called me over and said, please tell Dave's wife that the defensive coordinator of the BC Lions, Dave Ritchie, has a bruised knee so that she won't worry. And that is the injury report on the veteran coach of the BC Lions. It's a bruised knee.
Well, I'm sure Sharon Ritchie, Sharon, you're looking in tonight,
yes,
watching on TV. That's good news. It's just a bruise. A high pass to Paris Jackson. He's got it. Upfield across the 40. And he'll be shy of the 1st down.
You see Paris Jackson just come across the middle. It looks like Jarius Jackson is really getting his groove. The last 2 passes have been right on the money, right where they need to be. Looks like he's seeing the field a little better right now, which is one thing that the BC Lions have probably been waiting for.
Paris Jackson was the receiver that became the go-to man for Jarius Jackson as he was cutting his teeth coming off the bench. The first 3 weeks that he started, Paris Jackson was his favorite receiver. Back to pass on 2nd and 3. And another completion in traffic. It's Josh Bowden, the rookie, in his first catch of the football game. Warrior of the game. Time to log on to cbcsports.ca and cast your vote for the player who has shown the true grit of a Warrior. I don't know, Dave Ritchie's got to get some votes.
Yeah, I think he should.
Warrior of the game is brought to you by the GMC Sierra. Professional grade. First down, Lions marching. Jackson throwing downfield, tipped, and nearly picked off. The linebacker, Sadiq Shabazz, had a chance, and he's kicking himself as Omar Morgan.
Again, Jarius Jackson, what I'm looking for is he's looking at G-Roy the whole way. He's letting these guys know that he is who I'm trying to throw it to, and he's forcing the ball in there. You have to look these guys away. They're too smart. Omar Morgan is a veteran in this league. If he sees your eyes go someplace and he knows you've been doing it, he's gonna jump on it.
Yeah, he read him like a book there. But they couldn't come down with the ball. 2nd and 10. Eskimos showing blitz. Here they come. Jackson, deep drop, gets the ball away to Paris Jackson. He's surrounded. And Lenny Williams finishes him off with Mike Bottrell helping out on the tackle.
Paris Jackson had an opportunity, Mike, to get this first down. The man in front of him falls down, but he tries to make too many moves after he touches the ball. He makes the move right there, but you just have to go with your first move and head downfield. Hopefully you can pick up the 3 or 4 yards, but the Edmonton Eskimos rally very well to the ball and make sure he doesn't get the first.
Rick Campbell, the Eskimo defensive coordinator, has got this defense fired up. They've been playing good football the last 5 weeks, and they've held these Lions to just 15 points. BC averaging something like 37 points a game in the last 5 games. That punt nicely angled by Paul McCallum, out of bounds, and it'll be tough field position for the Eskimos when we come back. There's Sherko Haji Razuli in his 2nd game back after serving a 1-game suspension for that Donnybrook in Saskatchewan. A reminder, the CFL on CBC traveling to Montreal and the Big O next Saturday as the Argos take on the Alouettes in that battle for 2nd place in the East Division. Toronto moving 2 points up on Montreal with that big win yesterday, and now the Argos are just 1 point behind the division leaders, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Bombers, of course, opening a back-to-back series with Calgary tomorrow in Calgary. On the ground, Tyler Ebel is wrapped up quickly. Otis Floyd has been everywhere along that line of scrimmage this afternoon for the BC Lions.
Yes, he has. I mean, Otis Floyd is playing inspired football right now. He's trying to keep this team in the game right now with the offense struggling the way it is to put points on the board. They know that the defense doesn't have any room for any mistakes.
Ebel at only 5'9" is a small running back. He was telling me yesterday, throughout his football career, he's had no respect. People have always told me, he said, I'm too small. That just fuels me. I'm not afraid of anyone. This is a young man who won the high school Heisman Trophy at Ventura High School back in the year 2000. And he was rushing, get this, for an average of 300 yards a game in high school.
That's a nice rushing game there. A nice rushing average.
Violation, Edmonton, number 17. 5-yard penalty. Still
Stefan LaForce charged with the time count violation. Danny Machocha was telling us yesterday that he believes LaForce is coming into his role as a backup quarterback on the field further ahead than Ricky Ray was back in 2002 when Ray replaced the injured Jason Moss in week 4 of that season. Ricky Ray, of course, was undrafted. His college not nearly as decorated as Louisville, a Division 1A school. And LaForce has thrown 3 picks. A nice connection there to Kamal Peterson. 3 picks thrown by LaForce in this football game. Don't forget, Ricky Ray threw 3 picks against BC in the opening game between these two teams this season.
Yeah, and I see a lot of similarities between LaForce and Ricky Ray. Both of them have so much poise in the pocket, and it just goes to show you, it doesn't matter where you're drafted, it doesn't matter a lot of times what school you went to. If you can play this game, you can play it. And LaForce has shown in the 2 starts that he's had that he is capable of playing this game.
Not too many quarterbacks, though, came in like Ricky Ray did as a ranked rookie and lit up this league. And led the Eskimos to that Grey Cup in '02. Ian Smart tracking the ball down at the 50, breaks a tackle. Here he goes. The league's leader in kick returns is downfield, still going, and finally dragged from behind. But there's a flag on the play. Don't get too excited yet, Ian Smart. The indication is no yards.
I think it might be no yards. It looks like Ken Lazarus is saying is against Edmonton.
Number 43, decline.
Now he can celebrate. The CFL kick return leader, a 56-yard punt return, and that matches his longest of the season.
And this is what BC wanted to do. They wanted to hang around this game, and then make something big happen. They got the big play already from Claremont. Now they get it from Ian Smart. If they can push this in, they will have the lead in this game, which is crazy to think because of how Edmonton has played up to this point.
Well, special teams have foiled the Eskimos once again. First and goal from the 6, BC. Jarius Jackson dropping back to pass, throwing incomplete. Intended for Paris Jackson. He thought he was interfered with, but Omar Morgan, great coverage on the play.
Yeah, and I think that's a fantastic no call by the referees on this play. They're both fighting a little bit in there. Omar Morgan gets his hand in, times it perfectly. You should be rewarded for a play like that on the defensive side of the ball. He does have his right arm around Paris Jackson, but again, I like the no call, letting those guys play down there.
2 big pass knockdowns on successive series for Omar Morgan, the 8-year vet out of Brigham Young. Second and goal from the 6 for BC. Jackson, a quick drop. Crossing route, it's complete, touchdown, G-Roy Simon. And Simon strikes the pose. His 3rd receiving touchdown.
G-Roy Simon pays for that touchdown, but I don't think he minds a hit by Loftus at the end. He gets open quickly on the line of scrimmage. And Jarius Jackson this time finds him right where he needs to find him. You see Jarius Jackson drop back. He looks at G-Roy again the whole way through on this play, which allows Loftus to come up quickly, but it doesn't matter that close to the end zone.
G-Roy Simon, who had set a goal for 20 touchdowns this year, has his 3rd, and the Lions' leading receiver has put BC in front for the first time today.
Thanks, man. Good shot, boy.
G-Roy Simon with the 3rd touchdown of the game for BC.
Yeah, G-Roy Simon's been working hard today. Finally pays off for him. Again, he just makes a quick move inside. He stops his feet, and that stops the defender's feet, and then decides to move inside, finds an open space, and Jarius Jackson finds him right in the middle.
I'll tell you what, that ball was perilously close to not getting across the plane because he backed in, and the ball looked like it was on the other side of the plane.
Yep, true enough. I think we saw that last game with the Toronto Argonauts, them not getting in on a challenge, but this time it does stick.
Simon was saying on the bench he just wanted to make sure he was inside that goal line as he backed across. It counts. And now the Eskimos are behind, and Anderson can't get started. He is dropped by Jerome Dennis, the rookie who blocked a punt and returned it for a touchdown against Calgary 2 weeks ago.
And it's better late than never for the BC Lions. It looks like they have the spark that they need, and all of it is caused by turnovers and special teams play. Again, special teams on the defensive side of the ball, coming down and making the big tackle. They are providing the spark for this BC Lions that is not a team that's not going on all cylinders right now.
And that's been a storyline for the Lions all year, special teams and defense helping when the offense struggled, especially with the injuries to Buck Pearson, Dave Dickinson. LaForce batted down, it's in the air, and finally hits the turf before Brent Johnson can get to it. And Tyrone Williams That big defensive tackle got in there to bust up the pass.
Yeah, going back to your last point, the good teams know how to get things done. And it not always depends on the offense or the defense. Sometimes the special teams comes up with a big play. As you see Tyrone Williams come through, use his strength to push the offensive lineman off and make the nice block.
Second down, 10 yards to go at the 16-yard line. Lions blitzing LaForce. He stands in, jump ball, incomplete. Kamal Peterson went up for it, thought he had it, but couldn't come down with it. And so the Eskimos will have to punt as the 3-minute warning has been given to the benches here in Edmonton, with the Lions up by 4. Paris Jackson and Jarius Jackson at the BC bench, and Jarius struggled early in the first half, had 4 completions, but he's engineered a couple of touchdowns in the second half, and the Lions have come from behind. And Sean Fleming will concede a 2-point safety touch, which still leaves this a 1-score game with a 6-point BC lead now and 2:49 to go in regulation time. CBC Sports is home to championship figure skating, beginning with the HomeSense Skate Canada International Friday, November 2nd through Sunday, November 4th. Top figure skating, including the Canadian Championships, coming your way all season long. So you like that decision, Kahari, to at least push the field position back, especially with Ian Smart standing near midfield in that last situation and having returned the last punt 56 yards.
Yeah, we don't want to give Ian Smart another chance to do damage, so I think the Edmonton Eskimos were right. It was either going to be a 6-point game or at least get him in field goal range off the kick.
Now the Eskimo defense has to rise to the occasion. Jarius Jackson with a signal now to his receiver, Paris Jackson, a spot snap, and he's back on the football. And look at that, some words there from Rob Murphy and Isaac Keys as the tensions continue to broil inside that trench.
Oh yeah, you know these teams are, they've been battling all game long. Both teams have been working hard. Murphy, a little extracurricular activity, which he's prone to do from time to time.
Yeah, he's the big brother on that offensive line. They all play 2 inches taller with him out there. A loss of 4. 2nd and 14. Here comes the safety blitz from Loftus. Jackson back to pass, gets it away. Great read. Claremont the catch downfield. And for the second time today, the Eskimos get beat on the blitz.
Jarius Jackson knows how to make it happen when the blitz comes. And again, he throws a perfect strike to Jason Claremont. Again, the Edmonton Eskimos, 2nd and long. This has been one of their things. They love to go cover 0. They love to take that safety out of the middle, and it's burned them time and time again. I don't understand why they keep doing it. They must feel like it's something that they can do, but obviously they've shown that it doesn't work for them.
Oh, 2 second and long situations foiled and turned into huge plays. That one 40 yards by Claremont, who's got 7 catches for 172. Pressure on Jackson. He can't get away and doesn't quite get back to the original line of scrimmage. Jason Claremont having his best game of the season.
Go to the game notes on offense. Welcome back, Geroy Simon. He doesn't show up in the first half, but really shows up when they need him and gets the big catch at a big time to put BC ahead. And defense, the Great Wall, they do what Great Walls do. They stay still and an immovable force. 1 sack, 5 hits on LaForce.
Jackson rolling, throwing wide side, and it's dropped. In and out of the hands of the rookie Josh Bowden, who may have taken his eyes off it at the last minute. The young man out of the South Surrey Rams.
You can definitely see Josh Bowden trying to run with that ball before he gets it. Just a young player's mistake. Catch the ball first, then start making your move. But you start assuming that you're going to catch it, and this is what happens.
Wally Buono has taken that young receiver under his wing through 3 training camps. This year, finally, he got a chance to make the team, and he did on special teams. And has had 7 catches so far this season, all coming in the last 3 games after they released Tony Simmons. Lions meticulous on special teams, making sure everyone has their blocking assignment as Paul McCallum delivers a deep spiral, and this will hit the uprights.
Oh my goodness. The one thing that they did not want to happen.
What are the odds of that?
And look at Paul McCallum just smiling at it. You know, all he's trying to do is kick this ball as hard as he can so they take a point.
And it's a 7-point ball game.
And it's a 7-point ball game. Now they get the ball on the 25-yard line, no point. So they only lose really 10 yards from the whole transaction.
So we'll see if McCallum's bad bounce can be turned into an opportunity here for the Eskimos with 1:34 on the clock. Can the backup turn starter Stefan LaFors lead a comeback? 4-man rush for BC. LaFors flush. He gets it away. Wide open is Tyler Ebel in the flats. He's got a first down and steps out of bounds to stop the clock. Kahari, your Edmonton game notes. How about updating those for us?
Oh, definitely. On Edmonton on offense, balancing act. I love the balancing act that they played today. They had 209 yards passing and 132 yards rushing. They are doing it on both sides of the football. And on defense, and Goss we trust. Goss wasn't the one that got the interception, but he does have 3 tackles today.
Hurry up offense. First down at the 44 for the Eskimos. They need a touchdown. LaFors hesitating. Now he's got a man wide open. It's Fred Stamps. Stamps is taken down by the safety, Baron Miles. But the rookie Stamps has another Eskimo first down.
And what an important drive for the Edmonton Eskimos. I mean, this doesn't just say to winning this football game, but really to get them back into the playoff hunt. If they can do this drive with their backup quarterback, is going to give this team so much confidence. They're off to a good start.
It's a gain of 16 across the 50. LaFors, short drop, bouncing in the pocket, and it's complete. No, incomplete. Jason Tucker thought he had it. The fans and the Eskimos say he had it, and it stops the clock anyway on the incompletion.
No, and it doesn't look like Tucker is arguing too much, so that tells me that it probably did hit the ground. As we see from this angle, he gets it on his body, but yeah, the referee was
good call.
Great call by the refs. Has the view that you need to have on that play.
2nd and 10 at the 49. The pressure squarely on this man's young shoulders. LaFors flushed, gets away from Brent Johnson. Here comes Otis Floyd, and Floyd hog-ties him and throws the quarterback out of bounds with a flag on the play, and this may be rough play against the quarterback.
I think it is. It looked like he might have grabbed his face mask early on, which
horse
he did.
collar maybe, or a face mask on Otis Floyd.
You know, we see Ken Lazarus make the face mask signal as LaFors gets out, uses his feet again. This time he's going against a pretty fast guy, and Otis Floyd, and he gets his hands up by the face.
Major foul, face mask, BC to the 45, 15-yard penalty.
It was a face mask and a horse collar.
Yes, it was. They've been hesitant to call that horse collar, but they're always pretty safe on the face mask.
There's the horse collar.
Yep.
And a bit of a discus throw.
Oh, yeah. LaFors paid for that penalty.
A huge penalty for the Lion defense. It's first down at the BC 27. 55 seconds on the clock. LaFors back to pass. Pressure downfield. Oh, nearly intercepted, but broken up by Corey Banks, who already has one pick today, covering Kamal Peterson.
Oh, and if Edmonton ends up scoring on this one, Corey Banks is going to have nightmares. I mean, this ball is tailor-made for Corey Banks. He has perfect coverage. He gets out there, does everything that you want your defensive back to do, but come up with the football. Oh.
Kahari, they have 3 interceptions today. They should have 5.
They should.
Baron Miles dropped one too. 2nd and 10 Eskimos at the 27 of BC. LaFours straight back. In the flats. Ebell's got it. Beats the first man. Stretching downfield. Can't get away this time. And Rick Foley makes the tackle. Keeps him in bounds. And so the Eskimos will call a timeout as Danny Machocha takes a deep breath on that Eskimo bench.
Oh, with 42 seconds left, there's definitely 3-down football. This play will do a lot to decide where the Edmonton Eskimos season is going to go.
I was talking to Stefan LaFours yesterday in the locker room. We're commenting on how he's the only member of his family who is not deaf, and at his high school games, his father would sit in the stands and sign language, you know, little bits of advice to him, and he was saying towards the tail end of a very important game in which the passing attack wasn't working too well, he looked up into the stands and his dad signed to him, "Why don't you run the football?" And he did, and he ran it for a touchdown, and they won the game.
Oh, I'm sure his dad would love to sign something to him right now.
3rd down gamble, 5 yards to go. Game on the line. LaFours in the pocket, flushed. He'll run. He'll have the first down.
Oh.
I wonder if his dad called that one.
You never know. They might have ESP or something, you know?
They're standing at Commonwealth with 34 seconds on the clock, and it's 1st and goal from the 9. 30 seconds and counting. LaFours looking for the Cinderella finish, handing off, and Ebell runs into stiff traffic as Havy Glatt and Tyrone Williams stuff the run.
Great effort by LaFours. You see 2 very tired teams out on the field right now. As the BC Lions call timeout, they want to get a rest for these last 2 plays, make sure that they have everything set on defense to stop the Edmonton Eskimos.
The first place BC Lions have their hands full. Corey Banks wondering what might have been if he'd held on to that ball that was firmly in his hands, and he couldn't come up with the interception at the goal line.
Oh yeah, for a ball hawking team like the BC Lions, you have to come up with it at those key times. Corey Banks, you know that's still in his head, even though you're supposed to just drop those things off and play football, but something like that stays with you.
2nd and goal from the 7. Eskimos in a double tight end formation. They've got 2 downs. They come back. LaFours, play action. He can run. It's wide open. He throws to the end zone. No good. Intended for Trevor Gaylor and broken up at the last minute by the rookie LeVar Glover, or rather the 2nd-year man, Glover out of Cincinnati.
And they're giving this crowd heart attacks right now. I mean, he has Gaylor open in the back of the end zone, but he's sprinting out. Gaylor is going opposite of him, and so he doesn't get the ball is in the middle of the field as he would like to, and Glover has time to make up the space and get a fingertip on the ball.
And so it comes down to this. 3rd and goal from the 7. 18 seconds on the clock. LaFours dropping back, throwing to the end zone, incomplete, and they're complaining interference on the play. Fred Stamps was the receiver. He couldn't make the catch. There are no flags. And that's how Danny Machocha's game will end. A thrilling finish here in Edmonton.
Edmonton just lost the one-on-one battle. Stamps versus Glover. That was all that they said they were going to try to do. Glover beats Stamps to the inside. Again, I like the no call by the referees. It looked like Glover just got inside before Stamps and was able to knock that ball down. Great effort, though, by LaFours. You cannot say enough about that young man and the effort that he put forward today.
Unfortunately for Stefan LaFours, he will not wear the glass slipper here today as the Cinderella finish evaporates in the dying seconds.
Lock down you, baby, for life.
And those ball hawks on defense. And this man, LeVar Glover, with a game-saving play.
Shout out to Reggie right there, baby. Happy birthday, cuz.
Let's check back in with Cam Wake.
Mic'd Up, brought to you by Rogers, Canada's most reliable wireless network.
Too tough. Speed and power, baby. Speed and power.
Final play of the football game as Jarius Jackson takes a knee and the Lions survive a huge comeback effort by the Edmonton Eskimos. The fans still lingering here, their playoff hopes in danger with 3 games to go. 2 back of third place Calgary as the BC Lions win their 5th game in a row, and with the victory here today will guarantee themselves at least a home playoff date. Here's Steve.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, Jarius, it wasn't a pretty win, but the way the offense played in that first half, I think you'll take this one.
I'll take it. I'll always take it. I mean, you know, it's hard to come here and play in Edmonton in the first place. I mean, there's a number of variables that, you know, go into, you know, the game. So, you know, offensively for us, it was a playoff here and there. It was one guy making a mistake here and there. But, you know, like I always say, we keep fighting. Special teams, Ian Smart stepped up and made a big play. And as you can see, the defense held at the end for us.
A number of times this season, you've gotten it together offensively in the second half. What adjustments did you make?
Well, you know, we just adjusted offensive to what they were doing. What we game planned, they were loading up the inside. They was bringing the rush from the inside and just giving us different looks. So we had to start attacking more on the outside during the second half.
You were definitely on the same page with Jason Claremont.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, trying to get him over 1,000, he's almost there.
Congratulations on the win.
Thanks, Alexa. Appreciate it.
Jarius Jackson. Guys?
Thank you, Steve. Jarius Jackson winning his 6th game as a starter. He's 6-2 as a starter, leading a come-from-behind victory here today, 24-18 over the hapless Edmonton Eskimos, and BC clinching a home playoff date this year.
The CFL on CBC is brought to you by Rogers. Save time with easy wireless email. Set up and running in minutes.
Not surprisingly, that is one disappointed-looking crowd. A heartbreaking defeat for the Eskimos, who were by far the better team for most of this game, but couldn't hold BC down when it mattered. You heard Jarius Jackson talk about getting Jason Claremont 1,000 yards. Here is the receiver getting closer with Steve Armitage. Steve?
Jason Claremont definitely on the same page with your quarterback in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, we came out real slow. We were fired up in warm-ups, and we just didn't take it out on the field. Saw some things they were doing, made some suggestions to our coaches, and at halftime, you know, we cleaned some things up.
Is it a case where perhaps you give Edmonton some credit?
Oh, hell yeah, they're a great team. I mean, I think we got great teams all through this league. I think that, you know, if teams are going to take anybody lightly, Edmonton, Hamilton, Toronto, Montreal, they're going to be in for a surprise because these guys are all paid, they're all professionals, and they do a good job when it comes game day.
Jason, what adjustments did you make in the second half to get that Lions offense rolling?
Well, we kind of saw what they were doing with their defense and hoping that they kind of tried to bring some pressure, some cover zero, and they did. We were able to capitalize, and we tried to put Giroy in some different situations to get him the ball, and we were able to do that a little bit too.
Jace, thanks for this.
For sure, man.
Elliot?
Thanks, Steve. That cover zero was the undoing for the Eskimos in this game. You heard Kahari talk about it. You'll hear the panel on it in just a second. But first of all, our warrior of the game, and even in defeat, you have to agree with this selection. The statistics weren't perfect. 21 of 39, 250 yards and 3 interceptions. But he gave Edmonton a chance to win in a game where few people, including all 4 members of the panel, thought they would.
Warrior of the game, brought to you by the all-new 2007 GMC Sierra. Professional grade.
All right, Greg Frères, this is 2nd and 8 for BC and a 93-yard play. Kahari said they were in cover zero. Tell the fans what that is.
Well, it means that you're bringing an extra person on the rush, being a defensive back, so you have no free safety back there as a safety valve. obviously they make if you're going to do cover zero, you have got to get there with the level of urgency, and it's all about time. They didn't get there in time, make the completion. There was guys around them, much like they were saying the Milt Stegall catch, the immaculate reception. There's people there to make plays. They didn't make it.
And Greg, if you look at that play, you see the defensive back almost gets to Jarius. It was just a matter of not timing the count properly. If he hits the line of scrimmage right at the snap, he makes the play.
But if you want to be big time, you got to make big time plays. And when you're playing against the champion, you've got everything counts, everything matters. And
they